Good afternoon. I show it is now approximately 4:06 p.m. on Tuesday, September 2nd, 2025. I'm bringing the Board of Public Works and Utilities to order, call to order and roll call. So Mayor Kim Smith.
Present.
Alder Larry Jurassic.
Present.
Alder Jim Benash.
Present.
Alder Jared Holter.
Here.
Sabrina Steger.
Here.
And Diane Wolf as chair is also here. Thank you everyone for coming in tonight. Also, please note in the audience is our city administrator, Rick Niemeyer, Lane with Parks, and Brian with Omni. We have our fire chief, Pete Fletty, and we have IT Joe Olinger, and our police chief, our police chief, Charles Ashbeck, and Dan Wick with Parks and Rec, and Kevin Schubert with in engineering. Is anyone online by chance?
We've got Karen Marquardt, Mike Melke, and then Brian Romer and Sean Lenz from Ellers.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Number 2, consideration and action on minutes from the previous meeting.
I'll make a motion that we accept the minutes from the previous meeting.
I'll second.
Motion by Alder Larry, seconded by Sabrina to approve those minutes from the previous meeting. Any discussion? Hearing and seeing none. All those in favor of said motion say aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries unanimously. Item number 3, public input limited to 3 minutes per individual. If you are interested in giving public input, you may do so at this time. State your first and last name and your home address, and you have 3 minutes. So first call for public input. Second call for public input. Third and final call for public input. I'll move on with the printed agenda. Consideration and possible action on the following items. Public Works, number 4. Oh, we're just going to go off with a bang here. Yes, yes, Jared.
We've got a couple of people from Ellers on the line. Can we maybe possibly move to 13 so we could move them through?
Board, you're in agreement with that? Perfect. Thank you. So we will certainly honor that request. Under utilities, 13 public fire protection charge. A presentation by Ehlers regarding the public fire protection charge.
All right, I can start here. So at the budget meeting in July, we had talked about moving forward with the public fire protection charge that would go on the water bill. The council did agree for me to move forward with reaching out to Ellers to discuss that process. So I do have Brian Romer and Sean Lenz online, and they prepared a presentation for us that's in our packets, and they're going to go through that with you, and then we'll answer any questions that you have.
Thank you, Sabrina. Welcome.
Thank you. Can you all hear me all right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay. Is it advantageous if I share my screen with the presentation? I know you already have it in your packet, but didn't know if there is any advantage to putting it up on screen.
If you have it readily available, yeah,
Sure.
If you would please, that'd be great. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Can you all see it now?
Yes.
We can. I'm just.
It's a little small. But we can. There we go. That's better.
Okay. Well, thank you for having me. Like I was introduced, Brian Raymer here with Ellers. We're going to walk through kind of what the city is looking to do with converting the public fire protection charge through the Wisconsin Public Service Commission. One thing we just wanted to note is this public fire protection charge, given its name, can often be confused as to what it's for. It is just for the oversizing of your water system to help provide the water pressure to fight fires. So, right, there's extra capacity built into the system so that when, a customer turns on the faucet, but then also you need to fight a fire, you have enough pressure to do so throughout your system. So think of this as, the hydrants, oversizing of mains, as well as storage. So thinking about the elevated water towers, things like that. So it's just for the charge for the water system components, doesn't include anything with kind of firefighters or fire trucks, for example. Legally, through the statutes, you can collect this through the levy or a direct charge on the water bill. Currently, the city does both, and essentially what you're looking to do here is convert the remainder of the levy portion to the direct charge portion. So it'd be all collected through the direct charge. Some of the reasons, actually a lot of the reasons that communities will look to do this is just kind of there's an outside benefit to the general fund in that right now when you collect it through the levy, it is a charge from the water utility to the general fund, and then that goes on the general fund's expense budget. When you take this charge from levy to a direct charge, it is one of the rare instances where you do not have to take a negative levy adjustment. So part of the benefit here is just thinking about, inflation on these costs for the water system to fight fires can sometimes outpace, net new construction, which a lot of the general fund budget is tied to. So putting it to a direct charge tends to just make more sense to where it's governed by the PSC in terms of how much you can charge for this, but it's more in line in terms of our cost causation, charging it to through the direct charge on a water bill. So the other issue that I wanted to make mention is the regulators in Madison do not have this as a written rule. It's kind of an unwritten rule, but since you're within 5 years of your last conventional rate case, you can convert this through a special application, meaning you don't have to go through the full rate case application to convert this, which knowing how those go, as we file many of those a year, that is an arduous process. This is all to say it's to the city's benefit to do it now so that you don't have to wait for that kind of bigger process there. This kind of chart here explains how it's set up now in terms of the water fund and the general fund. So I just kind of wanted to provide this for some, maybe if you're not a money person or immediately have both budgets in your head, it can kind of help to show that these are water fund expenses, right? The costs to provide water to fight fires, and then it's going to the general fund, collected through taxes, and then sent to the water utilities. So kind of a two fund square transaction, if you will, and all you're doing is kind of converting it to completely a inline transaction with the water utilities, what those two slides were meant to show. And then we do show all communities who are looking to do this an estimated impact. And so you already charge the direct charge portion that you're already charging on what's called an equivalent meters method, meaning that based on the size of the meter, that's kind of how we're divvying up the charges. So that's how it's already done for the portion that's collected through the direct bill. We would recommend to keep it that way for a couple of reasons. First, it's easy to administer, right? You don't have to reboot your billing software to some sort of new methodology. Another reason, many of the communities who charge through the direct charge, about 95% of those that do charge it through an equivalent meters. So it's kind of like standardized way to charge it, if you will, just based off of what the rest of the utilities in Wisconsin are doing. And then another reason is, the amount kind of does come out for the average residential assessment as compared to what a residential home typically has for a meter size, so 5/8 inch or 3/4 inch. Right now for that portion that's on the levy, it's about $45.89 a year for an average assessed home and about 289,000. Where we're getting that averaged property value is from your statement of assessment, kind of improved parcels divided by total improved value. So that's kind of where we're getting that average assessment number of 289,000. It was about 16 cents of the total mill rate, and that's how we come up with the $45.89. When converting this, the additional direct charge, so moving that from the levy to an equivalent meters charge, it'll be about $43.27 annually, or if you put it by quarter, which is what you charge, $10.82. So about break even, maybe a little cheaper if you're at that average property value. Obviously, if you're higher, can be more of a benefit. If you're lower, maybe slightly higher again. This is what you already charge through the equivalent meters method, but comes out about the same in terms of average property value to average meter size, if that makes sense. Any questions on that? I know that might be maybe one of the more nuanced parts of this presentation to this point.
Any questions from anyone at this time? We're good so far. Thank you.
Okay. And then we did provide some frequently asked questions. Of course, the media one is kind of, will my tax bill go down? In theory, the charge for this portion, right, obviously goes away. But in terms of the tax bill going down is, right, that's kind of up to the city as part of the budget process. Then the other part too is, right, you don't control as a city, the county, the school, or the other portions of the tax bill. Does the PFP or public fire protection charge include fire department expenses? No. As I explained in the beginning part, it's only for water assets allocated to fighting fires. So it's not for firefighter salaries, etc. Does the WHO pays for the PFP charge change? Currently, right, for that portion that's still on the tax bill, any taxpayer pays for it, but then also the water users do. So now when you're converting all of it, just the water customers will pay for it. Therefore, kind of the only new PFP contributors, which is true already in part, right? They're paying a portion of it, not all of it. But it will be true for the whole cost now, is tax exempt customers. So like schools, churches, etc. In terms of the tax exempt. Again, this is nothing new because they've already paid a portion. It'll just be they're paying kind of their full share of the cost causation to the system. Obviously, all of those entities would prefer to have water to fight a fire. Do neighboring utilities do this? Kind of on an annual basis, we ask the PSC to provide our firm with an amount of utilities who do this, and about 65% of utilities do this. Only 2 years ago, this was about 55% of utilities that have PFP on some portion. So there's been a lot of utilities converting to this from nothing to a charge on the water bill, but just note that there are 65% of the utilities that do charge this on the water bill as of June of this year. And then outside users, this can be, as applicable. But if you do have outside users, they would pay through like what's called a surcharge rate. And then they'll pay kind of as a water customer. Right now, we don't feel like this is applicable, but just note if, things like this come up in the future, if you do have, attachments to the water system, things like that, because all water customers pay, they would be paying, right? So, and then again, knowing you're looking to do this as spoken to by staff introducing this presentation, in order to do this, you have to file kind of the special application that we've been hired to do, and we have ready to go. Your only action here would be kind of moving ahead with the PFP resolution, advancing that to council so that they can pass it, and then we should be able to implement for the 2026 budget. So I can take any questions that you may have at this time.
Anyone have any questions? Alder Larry?
Thanks, Chair. Can you give us an example of the outside user?
Sure. If you happen to have, a water customer that wasn't within the corporate limits, so they weren't a taxpayer, right? They should be paying into this. So if you did have it on the levy, you would need to have a surcharge. But once you convert it out of the levy, they're already a water customer, so they would get charged. So it's kind of like if you're serving any water customers outside of the corporate limits, as a whole, you do provide, water to La Crosse. You supply some water to La Crosse. They do pay a portion of your PFP charge, but of course that was already on their bill.
So would that be like an industrial park?
Right, yep, anybody who's a water customer.
Okay,
So currently the La Crosse International Business Park out by the solid waste facility is in the city of La Crosse, but it's served by the city of Onalaska water system. And then there's very few, but there's a few minor ones in the town of Madera. And then those are the two main areas. It's very few of our users proportionally.
okay, thank you.
One question that I would have, this is Chair Diane Wolf, is how long has this funding mechanism been available? Like, is it
Uh,
5 years old or 10 or?
I think they passed it in like 2008, but don't quote me on that. I would have to get back and look back to see when that PSC statute changed and when the original kind of PSC PFP items came out. But I know there was kind of a original PFP study around 2008, but I can look into that and get an answer to staff.
And as
It's been a while.
Thank you. And as a follow-up question, is it the PSC that will, that passed that statute, or did it have to go before the Wisconsin legislature to be passed?
Sure. The PSC kind of had to allow it to be on the bill. The state statute has it that you can charge this as a charge. So it's kind of two separate statutes, but the PSC statute kind of governs that you can do it because they exist. They kind of have to then take the Wisconsin state statute into their own and allow for the charge to the direct, on the water bill based on equivalent meters method, they kind of go through all of that, the PSC statutes.
Okay. Mayor Kim?
I have kind of a couple questions. The first one, you said 65% approximately of Wisconsin utilities have the PFP on the water bill. Can you give me some examples of those, and are there any in Western Wisconsin?
I could give staff the entire list that the PSC provided me. I don't have that like open or at the top of my head, but I could give you the entire list of who charges by what, if that would help. And I just don't have it
It might
readily
be nice
available.
just to have it on hand if we're having to answer questions from the public. And then
Certainly.
the next part of my question, it's oftentimes difficult to explain the relationship of the PSC, how we have to always take these things to them to do a review of any kind of rate change to do with the utilities. Could you do like a simplified explanation, like for our minutes and for those who might be listening, of their role in setting the rates for these type of things, just like in an overview kind of way? Because I think that you probably have a really good understanding of that, so that we
Sure.
can use that in the future when we're explaining it to our constituents.
Yep. So the simplest way I explain this is if you're a sewer utility, unregulated, you're going through your budget process. However you do that through committee to governing body like council or village board. And you would say, hey, we see expenses rising and now we need to adjust our revenues in order to meet our expenses. You adopt a resolution according to your ordinance, kind of away you go. When it comes to a regulated water utility, what you're doing differently here in the state of Wisconsin is a similar start to the process in that you can go through your expenses and look at your revenues and say, we do need to adjust our rates. However, the governing body that operates the utility does not have unilateral authority to adjust the rates. So they request a rate adjustment of any kind to the PSC. The PSC has ultimate authority of saying yes or no, or any option in between. So you may say, I need certain amount of an adjustment, and they say it's a different amount, but you still get that adjustment, for example.
So it would be fair to say that whatever rate we're charging has to be approved by them
Correct.
for the water system.
For the waters, yeah, for the water system. Thank you.
Any other questions of Brian at this time? Brian, I'd ask that you just stick around until we pass item B, the resolution, just in case something else comes up.
Certainly.
So are we ready to go to 13B, everyone? I think we are. So 13B under utilities is Resolution 21-2025. Authorizing a portion of the current municipal charge be allocated to the direct charge for public fire protection recovery for the city of Onalaska, La Crosse County, Wisconsin. And that resolution is in our packets. Chair will entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that we accept resolution 21-2025 as you just read.
Accept or approve?
Approve.
Okay, thank you.
I'm sorry.
Second.
Motion by Alder Larry, seconded by Alder Jim to approve resolution 21-2025. Discussion. Hearing none, all those in favor of said motion and passing this on to council, say aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries unanimously. Jared, this is the only item that Brian had, correct? Okay, Brian.
Thank you,
so much
Brian.
oh, I'm sorry.
I was just going to say thanks to Brian.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Okay.
everybody. Have a good evening.
Thanks, you
Thank
too.
you.
So Jared, back to number 4. Perfect. So under Public Works, number 4, 2026 capital improvements budget. So,
So it's that time of year. It is today. Today is the day, the first day, first meeting of capital improvement budget time. At the last meeting, we did present the 2026 through 2030 capital improvement budget at the meeting. Did have a variety of years in there, projects, kind of went over a high level with that. That whole document is attached as an attachment in your agenda on the online packet. So that is available, and that's got all the 2026 project detail in it. In your packet tonight, we have included the 2026 proposed projects that were submitted by departments for the capital improvements plan for 2026 by department with the total amounts. And then we also have the 2026 capital improvement budget by department and expenditure type. And what I would point out with that one is the general fund are the first projects listed, and then it goes into the sanitary sewer, water, and storm sewer projects. Then we also added on which would be page 11 of your packet tonight, the 2026 through 2027 capital improvement budget for the utilities, which would be sanitary sewer, storm sewer, and the water utility. Part of the reason we did that tonight is to look at how we're going to fund these various projects. And myself, working with the finance department, we have been looking at possibly doing a mortgage revenue bond for, which is rate-based, rate-driven payments for the utility projects that are shown in your 26 and 27 packet on page 11 and 12. Part of the reason we show 2 years worth of projects is we actually typically will approve, if we do this, 2 years worth of projects because of the work and effort that goes into the mortgage revenue bond. We like to have more than 1 year's worth of projects approved. So with that, unless Sabrina add anything at a high level if she wants, I know we've done this different ways in the past. Would probably be good to start with, if we're going to entertain the notion of the mortgage revenue bond, because that would drive probably the rest of the some decisions later on in projects. So, but I'll see if Sabrina's got anything to add there.
Yeah, I guess that would be helpful from my perspective as well, if it is the intent of the committee to move forward with the mortgage revenue bond. that affects the list in general and then affects how much we're going to borrow outside of the mortgage revenue bond. So I would look for guidance on that as well.
So quick question I would have is, if someone would answer, what is the advantage of going the mortgage revenue bonds route? Just for the minutes and just as a good reminder for everyone.
I mean, Jared's been through the process.
Yeah.
I would say the advantages from my perspective, but I would like Jared to add in as well. By using the mortgage revenue bond, you are pushing the costs of the utility of those projects onto the utility as well. So then the utility is paying for those costs with a mortgage revenue bond. Typically, rates are a little lower than regular bonding. Sometimes it kind of depends than doing a general obligation bond. We use general obligation if it's a smaller project, but there are advantages by using the mortgage revenue bond when you have more bigger projects.
And when we borrow money the other way, what is the other way called again?
General obligation.
Oh, right.
So I would add that when we borrow other years where we do not do a mortgage revenue bond, the general obligation bonding includes water, sewer, and storm sewer projects most all times, and the utilities pay that debt service for it. This would actually be debt service that wouldn't be associated with the GO debt, the general obligation debt. It'd be right with the utilities, and it would be rate based. So we would have to show that the rates can support that debt service. Typically, you'll see this in larger projects or a group of projects. So obviously, we would not want to do this on say a $500,000 project. We would have it with the general obligation debt. For instance, our city is in a very favorable position with our debt service that we have a lot of room in our general obligation debt. There are communities that, like the city of La Crosse did the wastewater treatment plant where our wastewater is treated. That was almost a $70 million project. That's hard to get into your general obligation debt because you're consuming so much of it that it's hard to fit those projects like that into your portfolio. So they went out and did a mortgage revenue bond for that. So typically the borrowing, it depends. Sometimes our GO actually borrowing is less than the mortgage revenue bonding, but the mortgage revenue bonding then is directly against the utilities since it's a utility debt, which I think more is where the debt should be. We're in a fortunate position that we could borrow under the general obligation debt because we've been conservative in many years. So we do have room, but by doing the mortgage revenue bond, you are totally ensuring that the utilities can pay the debt, has the debt service amounts in it, and has the coverage. There's also a coverage requirement to make sure the utilities has enough money as part of the bonding process. So
And separate reserves that you have to set up
Separate
related
reserves.
to it. So
yes.
One question I have, and I'll throw it towards our finance director. Can I surmise that if we do go the mortgage revenue bond way for like the utilities and such, that our general obligation bond ceiling will be higher? There'll be more room for us to get more things done or not?
You would not consume that amount of general obligation debt room. It'd be a part of the mortgage revenue bonding, but right now we are so, I mean, project wise, I think I think I stated this at the last meeting, we've got 50 million, 45 million in debt service, and by state statute, we're allowed 5% of our value, and that's like 160 million. So we're in a very, very positive location for our debt service. And I think either way you did it, you could do it, but it also then affects what your borrowing number is also, that's the other thing is what we would be borrowing. So.
Okay.
and I would just add that the city's policy internal policy has always been to kind of stick around borrowing less than what we pay off or around what we pay off each year. In 2026, we will pay off 4.1 million in our bonding. So I would want to stay below that. So like, or around that number, like to not take on more debt than what we're going to pay off, to try to,
And the,
that,
I'm
sorry, go ahead.
And and that would be the combination of the two funding mechanisms?
No, that would be just for the general obligation.
Mayor, thank you. Mayor Kim?
I was just going to add that, and the main reason why I state that is the bond rating is really important and does help keep our interest rates low. And it's something that I think the city is proud of, having that bond rating. And that is the reason why I say we stick to that. And that's why I am always a proponent of keeping strong reserves in those reasons for the bond rating. So.
Great, thank you. Mayor Kim?
Sorry. Jared, can you give us, I'm trying to think of when in the past have we used the mortgage revenue bond projects or clusters of projects?
Yep. So in the last 20 years, we've done 2007, we did a mortgage revenue bond for a new well, variety of utility projects and things like that in 2007. 2015, we did a safe drinking water loan for well number 9, which wasn't a mortgage revenue bond, but it was directly tied to the water utility. And then 2019, we did another mortgage revenue bond for a variety of projects that we did. Some bigger neighborhoods we did in that mortgage revenue bond. We had Holiday Heights, new water system. We did about a mile of city street over by the Blue Moon in the Spruce Street, Troy Street neighborhood. We include a very deep storm sewer for drainage purposes to alleviate some flooding on Troy Street. We had a variety of projects. So once again, we try and lump bigger projects together. And when I look at the mortgage revenue bond that you have on page 11 and 12, and you look at the projects that are on there, you've got things like 3rd Avenue North, you've got Poplar Street, you've got the water main across the La Crosse Country Club and down French Road for service purposes. You've got some 7th and Pierce, which we've knocked off the list for many years. 6th Avenue North has 4-inch water main on it. You've got some skate upgrades. You've got there's a variety of storm sewer projects that we have some storm sewer areas that need maintenance to make sure we meet our 20% pollutant sediment removal, on a variety of ponding areas. There's just a variety of projects that we got lumped on in here, and in the last, I don't have the exact number with me, usually I have it with me, but in the last 6 years, I think we've replaced like 2 miles of water main when, a water main should last 100 years. We got 100 miles of water main. We should be doing a mile a year. So we should have done 6 miles. We've done like 2. We've done, last 2 years in particular, we haven't done any utility project. So our thought process behind this was we're putting a variety of those projects together in a larger group of projects to try and get a bunch of work done. So that was kind of the impetus behind this. We've got a variety of things that we're trying to get done. One of the things we did not, a couple of large projects, future projects that I envision that are shown in our 2026 through 2030 capital improvement budget for beyond even these years, and then even into 2031, 2032. One of them is going to be Main Street. So we're going to have, probably by the time that bids, I'm guessing that's going to be like a $3 million, just our portion of Main Street for water and sewer projects. That's going to be 2029. So we'll have another funding hurdle at that point. And then probably, I would anticipate 2031 or 2032, we're going to be doing Sand Lake Road, probably from Main Street all the way up to Redwood Street. That's going to be a very large project with, once again, new water mains. The water main is from the late 40s in that area. By then, it's going to be 90 years old. The street's going to need to be redone. So I look at those 2 projects as looming out there in the future also. So then I don't want to have these projects just say, like we've done last year as well, because it can wait a year. It truly, some of the streets are getting to the point where we're going to have to do something to the street you know, the utilities are getting aged out, but we're not getting to the point where some communities where you have 6 water main breaks on one block and you just have no choice. There's other communities that I know of that have had that happen where they just absolutely have no choice. But because of the planning that we've had over all these years since I've been here, where if you look at the areas of the city like 8th Avenue South, 9th Avenue South, Hickory Street, Lacrosse Street, 9th Avenue North, there's a variety of those streets that have been redone in the last 20 years. If we wouldn't have had the foresight to do those, we'd really be behind the 8 ball now. And it's unfortunate. We have seen the costs on our utility side of the projects at least stabilize. We haven't seen them really appreciably go down, but we're hoping that we might at least see them stabilize. But with the last 5 years also, we've seen project costs go up 30–40%. So the old project funding number just doesn't cut it for doing projects. I mean, just if you look at the 3rd Avenue project it's on page, should be on page 4, the total
Both pages, yeah.
the total project cost, this is water, sewer and everything. It is, I think it's
Came up
right there.
1.8.
It's like 1.8 million. Then you add Poplar Street, which is essentially the same project, 541. So we're at 2.3 million, almost 2.4 million just to do, now those are long blocks. So I would consider that to be 1, 2, 3, 4, probably 8 city blocks. They're not truly blocks, but they're longer blocks. But that's just a lot of our per foot of cost for doing projects has went up incrementally. I mean, all departments have seen that, whether it's the parks trying to buy playground equipment or trying to buy squad cars or anything. We've seen it across the board. So I think it's actually, when I look at this year, you know, we're at 15,227,000 for projects. That number actually for project requests hasn't went up appreciably as the inflation we've seen in the projects. I mean, I really give departments credit for trying to really put things in that I think are what we feel our citizens want and need and are really good things. So, you know, I mean, you can look at other 5 years ago, we had $15 million of the requests. So, you know, it's one of those things that I don't think there's anything in here from any department that you could look at and say, oh, that's just totally off the wall. We can all have discussions about what we think is more important, but I think they all have their place. So
I have one more question. If we do a mortgage revenue bond, does that automatically mean that the rates will go up that people have to pay? Because I think that will be.
So I anticipated some question to that extent. So I did a little math work. We actually got the auditors working on it, hopefully maybe for the next month's meeting. But whether it's a mortgage revenue bond or we borrow it on the general obligation debt, the utility will pay the debt service. So either way, it's a utility customer is going to pay for these projects. What I envisioned with if we did the mortgage revenue bond and we have just right now, if we did all these, we'd have $3.5 million of water projects, 1.9 in sewer and 2.1 in storm sewer projects. That would be approximately, and I'm using a average utility bill for a residential customer. On the low end, it would be $11 a quarter, and on the high end, it'd be $16 a quarter, depending on how much water, because it's all based upon water usage. Our rates are based upon water usage. So it's $11 to $16 a quarter is what we're figuring to be somewhere in that range per quarter. That's water, sewer, and storm. So it was approximately 3 for stormwater, 4 for sewer, and 9 for water, which makes sense. There's more projects in the water side. So.
Okay, thank you. That's all I have.
Alder Leary?
Thank you, Chair. How long would this bond be for then?
20 years. We've typically been doing 20-year bonding. Our finance department's been trying to get us down on the GO side to try and get us down to 18 years and has a goal of 15 years so we can turn it over faster and not pay as much debt. But
Okay.
obviously that part of the reason also for, and this comes up quite often too, is why don't we just charge more and pay cash for projects? Part of it, you get back to the Public Service Commission. We went through the public fire protection presentation. The Public Service Commission basically makes a decision on what we can charge for rates. And they will not let us build up the kitty to pay for a project in the water side because they're generational assets. So part of the reason for actually bonding for the projects is because they're generational and the people that are going to benefit from it are people in the future. So that's part of the reason it's actually kind of a standard practice on the water side to be, and even in sewer, even though it's not regulated by the PSC, is to bond for these projects and then it gets paid for over time by people that are actually using it instead of charging someone and building up the kitty and then paying for the project. So.
But with the 20 versus 15-year rate, is the interest rate then different?
Yes. But for a mortgage revenue bond, I would recommend that we would stay at 20 years, just because these utilities last for way longer than 20 years, and then you are minimizing the effect on the water bill. Because we do have to adjust our rates based on the mortgage revenue bond.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And just as a side note, and we can discuss this when we get into the utility budgets, which are on our packet agenda tonight. What we're proposing for utility rates and everything does not include this because the first debt service payments will not be till the fall of 26 and then fully into 27. So, we are committing to a future I just want to be honest with that. So you know that when you approve the utility rates for 26, then when we do the 27 budget next year, we'll have those things acclimated into it.
Thank you for that, Jared. That's all the questions I have. I'm comfortable with moving forward.
So Jared, I guess the main question I have is, because we have a lot of documents. Are we going to, is the thought to do like what we have in the past where we look at, I'm used to like the sideway spreadsheet. That's in here somewhere, isn't it, like in the attachments? Because I printed out the whole attachment thing.
We didn't put in a Excel spreadsheet like we've had in the past. Sabrina we were able to export, just as maybe even a step back we're trying to always stay in the modern age. So we actually vacated from our Excel spreadsheet and actually went to a program to allow these projects to live a better life where we're not having to put the project in every year.
Right.
So now once we have the projects in the program, if they don't get funded or whatever, we can do way more things with the program. It's just like we did the projects by year. We did a report by, there's probably 25 different reports you can run, but we did the projects by expenditure type. So we could actually show what's general fund and what's water and sewer. So if we feel we want that spreadsheet to really make the nitty gritty decisions next month, I'm sure between myself and Sabrina, we can make that happen. We started one and then didn't go through it, but the 2026 projects, basically the best overview is on page 3. It's just the projects by year and by department. And I don't know if that's the order that they're in our packet that we attached that has all the project details. So I don't know if we want to just go through. We've done it many different ways, many different years. We went through every project. We've just started taking out projects. We've started doing it many ways. So
Mayor Kim?
I felt like you were suggesting that we start with the mortgage revenue bond first and try to just at least pencil in.
yeah, that's
And-
so if you
And then go back to the general obligation bonding.
so if we
If you
did the
could
mortgage
walk
revenue
us through
bond,
that.
if we did the mortgage revenue bond, obviously there are those projects, the water, sewer, and storm sewer does not pay all of those costs. There are street costs that have to be paid for by the general fund. Now the utilities bear some of those costs because they're replacing utilities under the street, but there's still part of the costs that aren't part of the mortgage revenue bond. So if we did the mortgage revenue bond, we go through, for instance, if you look on page 11, you can see what the sanitary sewer utility, storm sewer utility, and water would be bonded for. But then on the top of page 11, there's general fund expenses that would go with those projects. So for instance, if you decided to do 6th Avenue North, which is the next to bottom project, there's a $552,000 cost for the general fund. East Plaza Park's 102. Now, some of these projects, in going through it with Kevin Schubert, our city engineer, we think some of these projects can actually get moved to 27. We're not, there's just staffing wise, we're not gonna be able to get them done in 26. So I think 27, some of these projects, would go to 27, but even with that, if we did, the loader, the roof repairs at the Public Works facility, the Wall Street paving, Wall Street paving, 7th and Pierce, and 6th Avenue, that would be approximately $1 million even of general fund requests, that then you'd be able to do all the water and sewer parts of that project and get those bid out, and that would be a utility project for next year. So that would put us with Poplar Street, 3rd Avenue, and East Plaza Park going to 27. And I would say that we actually take out the Abbey Road Westerly extension. I think we should remove that project now that we got people looking at that area. So basically that would be $1 million in 26 for general fund expenditures and 650,000 in 27.
So quick question, Jared. So when we talk about, and you and I have talked about 3rd Avenue North, if anyone has not driven it, I certainly invite you to. I know all the potholes on that whole stretch. It's like I don't remember the exact numbers, but at least 500. Once you turn off John, then yeah, it's there. I know I get repeated calls every year. I have since I've been back on council, especially the last 3 or 4 years. I understand staff is been getting a lot of calls because they just keep blowing potholes. I mean, it is, Jared, would you call that the worst street?
It's probably the worst street we have in the city. It's if not, it's right there.
Yeah, and it's, I mean, I will say that, you know, the street department does a really good job. As soon as they get a call that, yeah, there's 3 more holes, they're right out there, fixing them. And I'm getting emails and phone calls from people and they're really appreciative. So, Jim?
Since I'm a little, again, new to this, I'm trying to grasp what's going on here.
Mhm.
If I understand this, the mortgage revenue bond, if we were to go that route, is going to be separate from the general obligation bond. There's going to be 2 different ones.
That is correct, but you would still have general obligation monies to do those projects. So you got.
That was my next question. So if you're going to do sanitary sewer repair, then you're going to have the
Correct.
bond, the general obligation bond to repair the street.
Correct. That is correct.
That's why we're kind of struggling with how to start, because like we have to figure out the project and then we have to figure out the split. So it's kind of like, that's why we're kind of tossing it back and forth.
And I think I'm just a little stuck. I mean, I'm really happy that we have a new system and a lot of it's really great. The one main thing I think I'm struggling with is that I guess I'm so used to seeing, where those various dollars come from.
Mhm.
So that's my only thing, because it's kind of like, where do I go? Other than that.
Yeah,
Um,
and I think, maybe the best thing to do is to start on just page 3 with projects in general, and we can, if there's a mortgage revenue bond component to it, we can point that out. I mean, that's probably if I had to go by a sheet, I think that's where I would begin
Yeah, I think
and
so too,
begin,
'cause
kind of begin things going,
This first sheet.
yeah.
And you'd be.
Just the
and-
overall summary.
And then some would be able to, like you have in years past, Jared, that talk about, if it's one that we have to say yes to because we already have maybe an 80-20
Yep,
split, that
yep.
kind of thing.
Yeah,
Sabrina?
Yeah, so I do have a spreadsheet that I created just so I can keep up. I will
Peter.
provide that. At the next meeting.
Okay.
We just didn't know with the new format if this was
Mm.
going to be good or if you would need that. I knew I was going to need it when I'm, keeping up with everyone. So I will provide that going forward.
Thank you for not having an actual calculator on the desk again this year. Appreciate it.
Sabrina, you want me to put that on the screen? Would that be beneficial or?
Yeah, I think I emailed it to, do you want me to email it to you again?
But I do like the sheets that we have. I do like.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to wrap my head around.
Yeah.
What I'm trying to wrap my head around is the splits.
Mhm.
And I'm used to the old way And so my brain
You're
didn't
not the only one.
match to it yet. So I'm just looking for, I don't have the old way, so I don't know what to do.
Kevin?
And maybe to that point, Mayor, on the split, right? Really, if I'm right, the splits really only come into play once you get into stuff labeled as
Yeah, so
public work. So really on page 4, so really if we would start on page 3,
yeah,
26 for 26, right? Everything you see there, City Hall, Fire, IT, Library,
yeah,
Park and Rec, those are all general fund
yeah,
bonding
right.
areas, right? So maybe
Yeah.
that's where the easiest to start, just to get the process moving and understand that first page, right, is
Mhm.
all just general fund, right? Then
that
once we'll
helps.
start to discuss page 4 there, as we go through there, if maybe there's one that would be something we're looking for the mortgage revenue bond, we can let you know so everybody can make a notation,
Mhm.
right, on your sheets, and potentially Sabrina would be able to provide potential splits or individual projects. Like,
Some of the IT products do have some splits to
We're
them,
gonna
but
start
not
on
many.
page 3. That says at the top 2026 through 2026 city or capital improvement plan, right? Okay.
Yep.
So, yeah,
So I guess one thing I'd probably point out too is on page, let's just get this. If we looked at pages 6
mhm.
and 7, and then it goes just onto the top of page 8.
Mhm.
And if you look at that on the 2026 column, there's $10,001,915.
Yep.
Okay? That is the total that you really need to get down to. Sabrina wants to get down to 3 million. If that's the easiest,
That's-
probably, that's the easiest one or, in that range, or, so that number has to go down from 10 million. That is basically the number that must vacate. Does that make sense, Sabrina?
Yep. I'm willing to go to 4. But
Well, I mean, we can't be at 10. Let's just, we're somewhere between 3 and 4.
yes,
4. Did I
we,
hear 4.1 earlier or was
No.
it? No, really. No, I'm not, no, I'm not. Okay, so what was?
there's always extra costs with borrowing.
Oh, yeah.
Diane.
Well, yeah, you got the bonding costs, you got to add in there too, so.
Yeah.
And the main reason, and I would be willing to move even like 3 million would be ideal in my world, just because we are doing the mortgage revenue bond as well. So that is a lot of debt we're taking on, if that is the way that we move forward, which is why I wanted to keep it lower, around 3 million, because we're also doing the mortgage revenue bonds.
Mayor?
Okay, so reiterating what Diane had said a few minutes ago, so looking at, I don't know, what I'm gonna call pages 1 and 2, the summary sheet. Are there things on this list that we're already committed to? And Diane had mentioned that a little
Yeah,
bit ago.
just-
I think we're just kind of trying
That
to
just
get
makes it-
focused in.
And I think the one thing some years ago, when Mayor Kim and I last served on this on this board, was that it seemed like every year ad nauseum, it's like, the first meeting we have, we just cut. The second one is just, we just walk out of here feeling like, geez. And so I think that one year we said, what can we keep?
Like, I feel like one of the things we
It
have,
just made us feel better.
like, I mean, I feel like, don't we have to do the AC condensing unit at City Hall? Isn't that something like that we have to do or not?
Dan can talk to that, but that's the number one project, I think,
Yeah,
or
I think
that the
so.
park board
I had,
put
our-
together for City Hall, and I think from a maintenance standpoint, that's their number one project, so.
but are there other ones that are like must have? I know
Mhm.
everything we need, but
Pressing, I guess, is what at least what I'm looking for, where it's not just, well, it'd be nice if we did it this year, but
Well,
where it's
project,
on the list a long time, and it's finally time to take care of it. Oh.
or we already have money committed to it because of the state funding.
yep,
The
yep, so
federal-
on page 4 under Public Works, the double S Crossing Meadows, Drive to 12, 25-19.
What number is that?
It's four-
Okay,
it's four down from-
Fourth
top.
down, 25-19. That one we're committed to because we've got the STP urban funding for it. The fifth one down, which is PW 25-3, the East Avenue sidewalk connection. If you approve the
Mhm.
If you approve the state municipal agreement for the carbon reduction grant tonight, you'll have committed to that one.
So then it'd be like eight, was it 90-10 or 80-20?
It's 80-20.
Okay. That price has sure gone up.
That's just the engineering.
Oh, wait a minute. Oh, no. Oh, I saw it somewhere else. It was 700,000, right?
This isn't for the construction. This is just to do engineering.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. Obviously pavement maintenance is one that I would fight hard for. And then, Public Works 26-2A, which is about 3/4 of the way down. Sidewalk maintenance is another one that we typically,
And in my opinion, us continuing to keep those two figures, it's usually like 400,000 and whatever the other one is.
yeah, our
That's where I think we just have always really shined and people, that's just who we are. That's what we take
You
care
look
of
at-
our stuff.
you look at the final special assessment costs that are in your packet tonight that we'll have to approve. It's up to 11 something, almost $12 a square foot. And I date Kevin all the time when I say you used to be able to do it for 3. Well, now it's to the point where we used to be able to do it for 7 and now it's 11 or 12. So it just is what it is.
So you say the 3 sidewalk projects? That's sidewalk program.
The 3 at the top, starting the 4th one down,
Sorry.
5, 6,
I
7.
think he was saying just 2A is the one that we have to do.
Yeah.
Right. Kevin? Oh, you're good now? Okay.
And then even like for, I know Dan can come up and talk if we want to go through projects individually, but they've rated their city hall projects, the library, the Omni Center projects. Dan does have a couple of projects in Omni Center that could be tourism funded, or possibly maybe even some park fund funding for some of the park projects, but they've got all those put together. There's a variety of IT projects on here. Look, there's a lot of projects on here, but a lot of it, Joe could even give us some information on, but some of those are partially mortgage revenue bonded. And then obviously we've got police projects, we've got fire projects, you got large fire department projects. So, decisions need to be made with those. I believe that's all we have we don't have, the good thing is in the next 2 years, we do not have a construction project from the Public Works Department that has state funding that we are committed to for construction. I think it's gonna be 29 or 28 before we get to one of them. Yeah, 28 for double S. Double S. Be 20.
So Jared, if I heard you correctly, at least what I heard, 2 of the projects that we are committed to in some fashion would be the SS Crossing Meadow Drive and the East Avenue sidewalk, if we go along with that tonight, if we pass that tonight. At least the ones that we are committed to,
Yeah, correct.
that we can say that is a hard yes.
It's a water project, but the Water State Trunk Highway 16 water main crossing the first project on the list under Public Works 2513. We have to do that one also because we have to have that in to serve the development area.
So do we want to,
That's gonna be water supported, not general fund.
okay, so do we want to just work on 3 and 4 first before we start jumping other pages? Or the one thing I don't want to do is what I've gotten confused in the past is when some people just jump all over and it's like, can we just start at the top and go down?
Well, Diane, just say what you want to do.
Well, I'm always very pro technology. This is one area that the city of Onalaska was so far behind for literally decades. And anytime I see anything on here with security, and upgrades and such, I just think that's just, especially when we talk about door entries and such, I just always worry about the security. And I know we've talked a little bit about the elevator. I think we put it off this year, but it's there again.
Yeah, if we want, maybe we just want to start at the top. Start on page 3, start at the top. I'd invite Dan Wick to come up, talk about City Hall, and we can just start hammering through them, and they can give some of their pros and cons and what they have into the projects, and we can just start hammering down through the list. I think that's,
Sabrina?
So when we're going through the list, can we just give some guidance if we want to keep the item in the list, or if we want to put it in the list, or if we want to,
Where we can
Hold
actually
on.
make a motion and then we can, I think when we make motions, I think that'll be the obvious, at least for the ones that, until next month.
okay.
We're gonna make a motion each section then? City Hall, fire, IT.
That's a possibility. I think we just have to get started.
well, I think you need to do it project by project, because you're not gonna wanna, you know,
IT would be happy with all those if we make one motion.
well, I think everybody's realistic. All departments are realistic in their understanding that they're not gonna get $10 million worth.
Yep.
So all departments, I think, are, all departments want to be able to give their reasoning for it and be able to show why there's a need.
Yep.
But at the end of the day, we all understand there's not going to be $10 million of the bonding.
Jim?
Okay.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Jim.
Just so I'm understanding that on pages 3 and 4, we end up with 15,227,415. On page 8, we've got 10,101,915. Where's the other 5 million coming from?
Water, sewer, and storm sewer.
So can you take that off of page 3 and 4 and just take that out of here? right
No, so if you go to page 9, there's $15,227,000 of the projects. And that's the same number you have in the bottom of page 4. So basically, they're broken out. So on the bottom of page 8, or the top of page 8, you've got $10,001,915 worth of general fund projects, tax supported projects. So the other whatever that number is, 5,200,000 some thousand is water, sewer, and storm sewer projects.
Well, that's what I'm getting
They're
at.
broke out right here.
Yeah, but on page 3 and 4, it's the same figure. So if you've got that $5 million in page 3 and 4,
It's correct.
can't you take these out of here right now?
Out of page 3 and 4, correct,
Take
correct.
it
We're,
out, and then that's separate.
Yep.
So then we deal with 10 million worth of project.
I would agree with that. Yes, I would agree with that.
So if we do that now, then we know we've got to work with that on that other mortgage revenue.
And could you tell me, say
And-
that one more time?
And so what we're saying is, if we want to do it this way, instead of using pages 3 and 4 that lists all the project costs, you can go to page 6, 7, and the top of 8, that adds up to $10,001,915, and just go through those projects as general fund projects, and then be able to get that number down to a number. And then if you're going to fund the water and sewer projects, you can look at them separately.
Mayor?
Yeah, because they presented the same information 2 different ways
Yeah.
because they didn't know what we were going to want to do. I was just going to ask if we're going to do it the way that I think we're going to do it, that we have the department representative come up, talk about their projects. And then I think you said you wanted to do it in the positive way where we're moving projects forward. We're not taking projects out. And then as a committee, we select 1 or 2, whatever projects to move forward and then go to the next department. So that, because otherwise how are we going to know? Because we've got this big, long list and we don't want to take all of them. And then we come back and add more later
And I
or
know-
something.
And I know there's been.
And I don't want it to be like this big debate.
Oh,
with
right.
One person about,
Yeah, we'll never get anywhere. and people have to remember too, we have next month. So we don't get to your item or we picked one, but you really wanted something else, well, I mean, I think that's your time to shine when you're at the microphone talking about what your needs are and what your subcommittees have passed and such and kind of their want list or need list. But yeah, so people should not lose heart if they get whatever tonight, because next month we start all over again. And sometimes we slash more, sometimes we change our minds. And we've also had time to, another month passes and we have time to talk to more people or think about it more. So
Okay, so we're gonna be working off page 6.
we're going to start on
Nope,
page
because that's the
6.
total,
The top of
including,
page 6.
Top of page 6.
And
because it would be over on the mortgage revenue bond stuff at the end then. In the way end where it's separated into water, sewer, and the utilities. So the first two pages are like a holistic total by department. And then the next several pages are separated, where the first several ones are
There's-
what would go under the general obligation bond.
mhm.
And then the last page and a half or whatever it is, which would fall into.
Utility based.
Yeah, so they're separated into the utilities. So if you took the utilities and added them back in, it would equal the first two pages. But so the total numbers are the same, but they're displayed differently.
I was just looking at the public work. You'll
Yep.
find them on page 6 and 7. So
Okay.
519
Yep.
is over here under public works.
So it could be in both. A public works number could be it could be split. And that's why when we were saying before, we wanted to see the splits. Part of it might be under general obligation bond and part of it might go under the utilities.
Yep.
We
Like,
don't know, but
For instance, security cameras at the public works facility is split 25% general fund, 25% water, 25% sewer, and 25% storm sewer, because that building houses all those utilities in it.
but don't feel bad because we didn't do it before this way either. So we're all trying to
Yeah,
figure
we're trying.
out the same.
So Jared, we're going to start on page, if I heard you right, we're going to start on page 6.
And Sabrina, would you agree to page 6 and 7 and try and get general fund projects whittled out? Rick, does it seem like a,
Okay,
And we'll make motions to add it in.
add it in. So top of page 6, it is projects by department and expenditure type. We're under City Hall, and that would be Mr. Dan Wick.
I will start. Brian is here to ask any more in-depth questions or anything that we have. So what Jared did mention, it probably got overlooked here. The park board last week did prioritize these items. They're not in the exact order that we put them in. So the park board prioritized their number one item is replace the 50-ton AC condensing unit, which would be 26-2 in the document that you have. We replaced the 40-ton unit a few years ago. Brian has had to work the magic and with the help of WHV to keep the 50-ton unit going this summer. We've been on borrowed time with that, and I think it served its purpose well. And looking to replace it, this building is a sealed building. In the middle of summer, when the air conditioning goes out, we can't open windows, we can't do anything, and she gets mighty warm. Number 2 project is the envelope project. 3 years ago, we hired a consultant because we were having such a large amount of water coming in during rainstorms and things, and we allocated funds. What we're trying to do is get a placement in there that we can continue to upgrade this building. That entire project that they came up with was some over $5 million worth of fixes that we needed to do with this when that took place. Number 3 project that the park board prioritized was the elevator operating system and power replacement. We did do some maintenance with that, and it's been functioning much better. But again, the units is 25 years old and is going to need some overhaul here in the near future. Number 4 is the HVAC controls. So this controls how our heating and air conditioning works in this building. We have an ancient system. We are the oldest system that the current provider has. We can't make some of the upgrades that others can because of the age of our equipment. And so again, at some point, we're not going to be able to use it. And so we're going to have to, figure out a way at that time how we continue forward and we control the temperatures in this facility. Number 5 is the door openers on basically on the main street. This was kind of came through during elections and stuff that we have going on in this building. Our main entrance off of Main Street does not have handicap accessible doors and somebody coming in. East parking lot does. That's where majority of people come in, but kind of the flow of traffic and stuff, sometimes that's more convenient to come in there. And the last is the repaint. Again, this building's 25 years old. A lot of it is still the existing paint and things that we had when we started. And so Brian is just trying to get ahead and trying to get it that we can paint it. But those 6 items were in the order that the park board put in at our meeting last week. Again, like I said, Brian is here to provide any more detailed explanation if you need that from any of these projects.
Thank you, Dan. Anyone have a strong feeling of something that they feel so right now, there's nothing that we are obligated to, that we're not having any split matches or anything. This would just be all us.
I can make a motion.
Yes, Mayor Kim?
I move that we advance replacing the 50-ton AC condensing unit and the envelope project to the capital improvement budget.
I'll second.
Motion by Mayor Kim, second by Sabrina to move forward City Hall 26-2 and City Hall 26-3 in the respective amounts of $150,000 and $200,000.
For round 1.
Yes, for round 1. Discussion.
I was on the park board and there was some discussion about the elevator operation. And basically because the age of the elevator and the possibilities of that going down. But then the 300,000, that's still a group. If we have funds at a later date, and I'd recommend that one too.
You want to put that, do you want to amend the motion and put?
No.
No? Okay.
Keep it with 3 and hopefully we can all, those 3 go through.
Okay, so under discussion, Danwick, I was writing and I missed which one was number 5 and number 6 of your list?
On the park board, the door openers and the repainting.
They were 5?
5 was the door openers, 6 was repainting.
Perfect, thank you so much. And the only reason why I will comment on the door openers on Main Street, I'm not here, so I can't say what the traffic there is Monday through Friday here, 8 to 4. But we have everyone coming for it's 9 days or something for voting, for in-person voting. It's not only seniors who use those doors. I was diagnosed with carpal tunnel probably 35 years ago, and to this day, I don't open a door because I want to be, when I turn 80, I want to still be able to comb my hair and brush my teeth still. So to this day, I still use them. It's parents who are struggling with the stroller to get in. It's people with all types of issues. So this is just not like one subsection of people. There's just a lot of people that this would affect. Sabrina, I would ask, when we have like these little small amounts like this, 15,000, I know we've talked about this in years past too, since I've been back on, since 18, that the bond for 18 or 20 years for a $15,000 item, could that like go against, as much as I hate to touch it, the equipment replacement? I mean, I don't know where that, but it just doesn't seem right to bond for 15,000.
Yeah, so you can definitely bond for that. The way that the state has changed some borrowing mechanisms. So now we can, For example, in 2025, when we borrowed for the police vehicles, we only bonded for 5 years. So we only pushed that out for 5 years. So it's now essentially a note instead of a full-fledged bond. So if we were to decide to borrow for that 15,000, we could do it over 5 years instead of the 15 years. Or it is something, either at this meeting or the next meeting, the committee could decide to move to equipment replacement.
Okay. I just wanted to comment at this time. Does anyone have any additional questions of Dan Wick or does anyone else wants to weigh in on any of the other items under City Hall? Larry?
Yeah, on the paint, can that also be classified as replacement?
It could, yes.
I think we'll have some good discussions next month. So right now, the motion on the floor is to move forward with round one. To keep would be the CH 26-2 and CH 26-3. All those in favor of said motion say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries unanimously. Thank you. I got to start a system here. Okay, so on to fire. We have our fire chief here, Pete Fletty. If you'd like to address those items under fire, please.
I can, yes. We have 4 projects in 26's CIP. To start with, the first one, 26-01, is to purchase land for a second fire station. I know this has been in the budget for 20 plus years, from what I understand, well before me, obviously. But we certainly put it in there again. Last year, we did a study, as you probably know. And that study not only determined we were short personnel, but we were also short infrastructure. Specifically to the east and to the north, right now, our response times are falling 3 minutes and 30 seconds above the industry standard, and it's much more to the east and to the far north. To the east, we have all of our commercial properties. We have several housing properties out that way. And to the north, we have a lot of apartment complexes going in, which are all high-risk facilities. So as you know, the study again did identify 1, possibly 2 fire stations to the east and to the north. Using the study's information, we estimated that to be about $1 million. One thing to note too is that every year we delay the fire station project, it goes up by about $500,000 per year to do the entire project. So we thought it was prudent to put this in sooner rather than later because it's going to be a multi-year deal to even break ground on this. So I think at bare minimum, we need some direction from this body, this board, and certainly council. If this doesn't move forward, kind of what's the plan? Because I don't want to waste anybody's time putting this in year over year. So like I said, it's been over 20 years. Project 26-02 is a dispatch office remodel. So the dispatch office is downstairs near the fire apparatus bay. It's kind of our everything room, I guess, for staff. We write reports down there, which should be HIPAA compliant. Other people should not be able to see your computer screens. The floor is in rough shape. The cabinets are in rough shape. We could use some storage solutions down there. It's become full. I know it's been over 20 years since that's been addressed. And that's kind of the first area that people see when they come in for tours, for our fire prevention week that we're going to have here in a month or so. So I guess we wanted to get that upgraded and updated specifically to get a non-pervious floor in there, to get individual workstations where computer screens can't be seen by outside public. And that's going to cost about $60,000 from our estimates. The next one on the list is 26-03, which is the fire station design. So this is kind of, I guess, coupled with 26-01. So using the study's information, we know that just to program and to look at, developing plans for building a second fire station, that's going to be about $700,000. Our plan would be to If that moves forward, divide that into 2 separate years. So in 2026, we'd allocate $350,000 to get started on the planning and the programming of a second fire station. And then again in 2027, have another $350,000 to complete that with the hopes of breaking ground in 28 and opening a fire station in 29. So that would kind of be our plan. And then 26-04 was replace our 2008 Command Car 2. This was in the budget, I think there was in CIP for 2024. We took it out for this year. We brought it back around again for 2026. And again, it's aging, you know, mileage wise, it's still doing okay, but you know, if we're going to start planning for the future, we are going to need another station car. If we add staff, if we build a second fire station, that's one of those things that we're going to need a car for errands, for training, for inspections, different things around the city. And to use current car 2 to do that, you're taking a command car out of our response. So our thought is that we could use current command car 2 that we have on our apparatus floor, use that for fire inspections, use it for out of town travel and training. Well, it still has some useful life, and then replace command car 2 with a new GMC. So that's kind of our plan.
Thank you, Chief. Anyone have questions of the chief? Alder Larry?
Yeah, am I hearing it right that for design, it's gonna be 700,000?
I'm sorry.
For design, it's gonna be 700,000 or 600, yeah, 700,000.
Correct. Yep.
Yeah,
Fire station design and.
That's
and
the
planning.
architectural
Yep.
plans and to bid it out and everything. It's gonna be that. We spent 600,000 on a community center, and this is gonna be probably a more expansive building.
All right.
Any other questions of the chief? Mayor Kim?
I would like to just ask that we delay on taking action on this at this meeting. I guess I'm not 100% comfortable moving forward right now with making a recommendation.
Okay. Alder Larry?
On the $1 million for the purchase of land, can we split that in half also and just have part for 1 year and part for the next year, or is that a feasibility?
Mayor
I can speak to that. When it comes to buying land for the fire station, we don't want to, I wouldn't recommend borrowing money just to borrow money to purchase the land. If it comes to that we've decided to purchase the land for the fire station, I think that the city has ample financial resources and ability to move forward with purchasing a piece of property if we choose to do so and one becomes available. Even if one became available now and we wanted to move on it, we could, but I'll turn to our finance director to speak to that.
I would agree with the mayor. If it was the intent to move forward with land, I wouldn't just borrow $1 million. It's important that it's in here and that there is guidance on that. But if we were to come across a piece of land, I agree that we do have the resources to be able to purchase that.
Yeah, and I guess I'll further reiterate that, I do support, if there were to be land available that is in some of the target areas that we've looked at, I would come to the council and advocate for purchasing that land right now today, if I knew of that property. So I'm not trying to send a mixed message here.
Thank you.
So for now, I believe we have a consensus. I haven't heard otherwise that we'll move on from fire then. Okay. Thank you, Chief. Appreciate your input. Information technology, Mr. Joe.
Yeah, thank you. So IT 26-1, audiovisual upgrades for council chambers. I think we all know that there are struggles in this chambers as far as hearing apparatuses and just overall functionality of it. So this would obviously replace not all of the equipment. This would replace the equipment that is about 10 years in age right now. Half of this room was replaced about 4 years ago. So it would be catching up with the rest of it. As an example, the UPS in that closet, when we test the generator, it can't support the load anymore. So then this room gets messed up. So just, that's 26-1. So that's this room. 2611, security camera upgrades for the Omni Center. I've known since I started here that our security cameras could use an upgrade. I'm not going to say which ones, but several, if you were standing 5 feet in front of them, we wouldn't be able to tell who you were. So the security camera upgrades are broke up into different locations. Some are more important than others. I feel like the Omni Center being one of the more important ones because we do have so many events there. And, you know, in the last year, we've had more events there. The new security camera systems that we've been putting in at the Dash Center, at the police department, new storage unit. And we did replace 2 cameras at Roe Park because we needed cameras for other areas. They are much higher quality. I think Chuck would agree that it's a significant increase in physical security by having cameras that we can actually identify people, cars, license plates, faces. So that's 26-11. Obviously, 26-12, that is finishing up Roe Park and the skate park. We did do the 2 cameras down at the actual skate park this year because we had to. The rest of the cameras around Roe Park would be in this edition here. 26-13, security camera upgrades for the Aquatic Center. We had a camera fail, and that's why we took some of the ones from the skate park to put up there. But the Aquatic Center being another public, high-use public location, could also have some liability help in the case of a drowning or some other negative thing that would happen up there. 26-14, we have the fiber connection to WiscNet, which we're kind of already moving forward with that with the school district. That's just basically getting us a cheaper internet connection through Ultra. They house the WiscNet connection in their building. This chunk of fiber gets us to their building, reducing our yearly expenditure on internet service by about $10,000. So spend a little money, but the return on investment with the joint project with the school district brings it down to about a 5-year return on investment instead of a 20-year return. So that's why that's on there. 26-2, audiovisual upgrades to room 112. Again, some of the projection stuff in this building is just getting old, outdated, needs to be updated. 112 is a highly used room in this building, so that's also why this one is on there. Some of these changes are just replacing aging equipment, reusing some of the equipment we already have, new microphone in the ceiling instead of having individual microphones. So just some improvements in there. 26-3, audiovisual upgrades in the EOC. Sometimes when I go down to that room, I think it's like straight out of the 70s with a couple of TVs on the wall. There's just better technology out there that we can utilize in that room. Being that that room isn't as highly used and only for emergencies, it gets overlooked a lot. Pete and I have been kind of looking at different ways that we can upgrade that room to just make it more usable in the event of some kind of emergency situation. Hold on here, get logged back in quick. All right, 26-4, keep fob entries for City Hall. That's just basically going through and getting some of the other doors that need to be fobbed, either new fobs or upgrading some of the older fobs to the newer keypad style. I know the fire department and several other departments have commented on the not having to hand out a fob to a part-time employee, having to try to get that fob back at the end. So doing some upgrades to keypads. Then we've got door fob entry at Great River Landing, kind of the same situation there. We have a few different groups that go in there, just ease of access and not having to hand everybody a key and worry about where those keys are. 26-6, key fob entry at the pool. Again, same situation, just making it easier to access and not having to give so many seasonal workers keys. 26-7, key fob the Omni Center. We did a really good job and made a really big dent in all of the different doors at the Omni Center that needed to be fobbed. This would just be finishing up that project and hitting the rest of the doors that we didn't get a chance to. 26-8, security upgrades for City Hall and the PD. This one, obviously, this building gets used a lot for elections, things like that. We have people wandering the halls. Right now, we do not have adequate coverage of this building. There are obviously cameras on doors and things like that, but there's areas of the building that people could slip into that we have zero coverage. Second floor, we don't have any cameras out in the hallways. We have no cameras in stairwells, and there's other locations I don't really want to mention, but so that's a huge security risk. Yep.
Where is that located, Joe? Is there a specific room that has all these televisions that show you what's going on in each particular section?
With our current system that City Hall has, we actually have two different servers that house all of that, and we can access it through basically a program on some people's laptops.
Nobody's monitoring it 24/7.
Well, PD has the cameras up in their area, but nobody sits and stares at the screen all day. With the new system that we have put into the Dash Center and the police storage and stuff, that's just a website, and we could give that access to whoever needs that access. There's no special program. You can access the cameras from your phone, things like that. So no, there's nobody necessarily just sitting watching cameras, but there are like, with the new system, there are alerts that we can get where if there's motion in a certain part of the building, we can get a text message sent to the police department. There's been so many advances in the camera technology, and our system that we currently have in many of our buildings just can't support that. Does that kind of give you enough information?
Well, the system that we have, American Legion, we have like 13, and we can see what's going on at each particular location of that camera. So I was just wondering if this is something that we would want to do here, why wouldn't we have that same system where you have all these TVs or monitors that show the comings and goings, not necessarily having somebody watch what's going on, but the capability of someone would be there to recognize a problem without having to text somebody to ask them, hey, you better check this out.
Right. So with our current system, we have about 190 some cameras, let's say. And with those cameras, we have two different servers because one server can't handle them all. So if I want to watch cameras on the police department, I have to go into one server. If I want to watch something at Great River Landing, I have to log out of that server, log into a different server to see those cameras. The new camera system that we're putting in, they're basically all under one house. And when you log in, you can actually set up your views and it'll rotate through those different camera views. Now, like the police department has TVs up throughout the PD that have the cameras on them. Yes, we could do that in some other area of the building. I personally, in my room, would like to have one that just kind of scrolls through them, mainly for me so that I can see if any of them are having any issues or whatever. But the automated response and the automated texting on motion, we tested it out and I was able to put Dan Wick's picture into the new system. And every time he walked into the Dash Center, he would get a text message saying he was in the Dash Center. So it's way more advanced than what we have right now is basically if something happens, we can go back onto the camera system and see what happened. But there's no way to actively respond because of the sheer number of cameras we have to try to keep track of. And just the fact that the quality is just not there. So.
Mayor Kim?
Joe, do you have these in your order of preference? Or are the number, or what are your top ones?
So I would say the top ones for actually getting the cameras, if we had to choose, the Omni Center would be number one. That was very apparent after
You'd say
the,
the number that would really
oh,
help.
26.
26-11 would be number one. I would say 26-13 would be my second preference, even though that aquatic center is only open part of the year. There's just more of a chance for some kind of incident to happen where we would be liable for somebody slips and falls and hits their head, there's a drowning, being able to actually see what happened leading up to that event.
Can you pull that camera, do the rest of the year when it's not available?
It's not worth
Okay.
taking them down and moving them and
Right.
all that. So I would say that. Other cameras on here that would, I mean, obviously.
Projects in general, of these things, what are your top?
Of those things, I would say that Omni Center cameras, probably the council chambers AV would be high up on my list. The fiber is also like,
Yeah, the
that's,
fiber connection to the WISCNet is and that's actually partially funded by the water and sewer because we use those for the water and sewer. So we are funding.
there will never be a time where we can get that done cheaper.
Mm.
So this is like the time to
Okay,
do
well,
it.
that's what we need to know.
Plus, it's also nice to be able to coordinate with a school district.
Right,
And, it just,
right.
yeah,
Yep.
it has, yeah.
So I guess if I had to choose, that would be my number one, then the Omni Center cameras.
So 1, 11, 13, and 14 is what I heard.
Yep.
Okay. One thing that I've said this in past years, and I'll say it again. When I look at our city hall building, the pool, Omni Center, I mean, when you think about the buildings and the value and what we continue to use for upkeep, to me, if we don't have some security in place and some steady security, I think we just look really stupid by, because someone would say, well, why didn't you? Especially when we're talking smaller dollar items. I realize, they all add up to a larger number, but I just think it's our responsibility to protect our buildings. Alder Larry and then Sabrina.
Yeah, the question I have is there a limit to, well, you were talking, almost everyone, you said equipment replacement. Is there a limit that we have to go to for equipment replacement?
Equipment replacement is, we're not putting any tax levy dollars there. So if you do that, you're using reserves from the equipment replacement fund. So
Could you
Just a
have a
heads up.
limit that you want to go to, or?
not necessarily. We also, during the regular budget process, have items that are going to come forward to equipment replacement as well. So I'd want you to see that number as well before adding too much to that list.
It's-
And then I was also going to add
Sure.
that Alder Knott is online and I think he wants to speak.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
I could write a
Yeah, I've been
script. I
online since
was almost going to say, what he's-
4:09 actually, and I haven't,
Alder Knott?
been trying to talk.
welcome.
Yeah, so anyway, the question, I have two questions, one question, one comment. The fiber connection to WISNet, is that going to be necessary for some of these other upgrades? And then before I get that answer, I want to remind people that we do not talk security specifics when they are going in, without going into closed session. And we have just done that on a couple of items. And we need to be very, very careful that we do not put that out into the public forum.
So Steve, to answer your question, yes, the WISCNet connection would be needed. The more cameras we add to the new system, the more bandwidth we're going to require. we are not going down in the amount of things that are on the internet right now. Moving our new ERP system and Microsoft 365 and all those things, we will be maxing out the internet connection that we currently have.
So would that not then require that to be of a higher priority maybe?
Right, that's why I said that would be the highest of the ones that I would want to get approved. That would be
Oh,
the
I thought I
highest.
heard you say Omni Center was and Aquatic Center were the top two.
No, the WisConnect connection would be my number one choice, yes.
Okay, I misunderstood. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Thank
think
you.
when he said that, he meant of the camera locations, he would
Right.
prioritize the aquatic center because.
Oh,
of
okay,
the-
got it. Okay,
Thank you,
thanks.
Alder Stephen. Appreciate your input. Let's see, who else wanted to, Alder Larry?
Of the equipment replacement list then, do you have a priority list for that area so that we could put that off to the side? And when it comes up, these are your priorities?
For like
Whatever you had up here for equipment replacement, which was almost every statement, or upgrades or.
yeah, I mean, the ones that I mentioned would be the priorities to get done, yes.
Okay.
So,
Mayor Kim?
In interest of moving forward, I'll make a motion of those two high priority items for IT for round one. The first being the Fiber Connect to WISNet, which is 2614. Also, the auto visual upgrades to the council chambers, 26-1. And then the security cameras for the Omni Center, which was 26-11. And the security camera for the Aquatic Center, which was 26-13. I make a motion that we move those four items forward to the capital improvement budget.
Second.
Motion by Mayor Kim, second by Alder Larry, to move forward for round one, IT 26-1 in the amount of 46,300, IT 2611 in the amount of $150,000, item IT 2613 in the amount of 28,000, and IT 2614 in the amount of 48,000. Discussion. All those in favor of said motion say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you so very much, Joe, and everyone for your input. Library, Mr. Wick and or Brian.
I'm gonna have
Brian
Brian-
needs to get a
Yeah,
stretch.
I'm gonna have Brian come up and explain this because I believe the mayor is gonna have a request in this line item also. So I'll have Brian address these items.
Welcome. Thank you for coming tonight.
So the two things that are in the capital budget for the library, we have the flat roof replacement, which would be the roof over top of the two meeting rooms that are in the back of the library. And then recarpeting the adult section of the library are the two things that are on the docket for the capital improvement budget.
Okay. Sabrina, one quick question. What do we still have any kind of a balance in the library fund that's carried over for the last?
Yeah, so I did prepare a number for Dan regarding this. I have to look at my email. I know I sent it to him. I don't have it off the top of my head. But I think it was around 90,000 left in there, but I think there may be some projects that aren't finished yet. I don't know, Dan, if you were able to look at that.
Yep, I'm just bringing it up here.
Okay. There were some projects that were put towards that in 2024, and I don't know if all those projects are completed. So I don't want to say for sure the full 90,000.
If we spend what was planned for in this current year, which I don't expect Brian to have that answer right now, we would, for the projects that were funded in 2024, we should have a roughly 90,000, just under 90,000.
For a balance, once the 2025 projects are
Yes,
circa 90,000. Okay,
yes.
thank you. Mayor?
Yeah, and I was just gonna go ahead. I forwarded the request to Dan, but I did have people from the Friends of the Library asking about the grade and the situation with the parking lot. If maybe Brian wants to talk about that, if there's any improvements planned for the parking lot.
Yeah, and I was actually able to have a conversation this afternoon with Mr. Holter and, Mr. Wick about the, issue at the library. A little bit, right now, we have a added issue with the, water at the library. It ends up being a thawing and freezing issue that the water will bypass the berm that we have that was put there originally, bypass the berm between, that and the reading library or the reading garden, and the water and stuff will melt during the day and then go right in the, probably the worst spot it could possibly go, in the handicap spots. And right now, the way it's set up, there's really not a way for us to stop that from happening. We could extend the berm around closer to the reading garden, but the water would still come through the reading garden in the same way as it does now. In talking with Mr. Holter, we talked a little bit about maybe we want to try to put some kind of a well there, or some kind of a drain for us to be able to hold the water, to try to capture it before it gets out onto the sidewalk and goes onto the parking lot. It becomes an ice issue, and that's kind of been an ongoing battle since I came to the city about how do we try to fix that? What do we do different? And it didn't help with the new parking lot that the school put in, because now the water just comes down faster on that side. I know we're gonna have conversations about hoping we can persuade them to plow their snow a different direction, to try to help with snow cover. And if they fill that hillside with snow, it'll just make that issue worse. And I don't know what that'll look like, this year.
So,
I'll just interject a little bit. When I talked to Brian this afternoon, I think our first step is probably we can try and do something with staff, see if we can get something done to use our public works staff to put in some sort of a French drain to see if we
maybe
can.
like a rain garden or something.
Yeah, like a low flow type of thing. So when it melts, it's got a place to go besides just going over the sidewalk. If not, I would say the next avenue is we probably have to run about 200 foot of storm sewer to get to the storm sewer system to catch the water so it doesn't go over. But I would like to try option A first, just to see if we can mitigate it that way.
A big hard part for us is, they spend a lot of time and energy on the reading garden, and the reading garden is gorgeous, but it kind of is a perfect place for the water to form or the snow to lay and then melt and run down over top of the parking spots. No matter what we would do, making the parking lot, even if it was flat, we'd still have the same issue. I mean, I don't know how we get around that part of it.
So, Mayor, do we want to add that line item?
I don't
Just-
think we need to add
It's
it.
just more,
I mean,
try
I
to
don't,
attach
Jared,
it.
we wouldn't need to add it, would we?
No, we'll
or from a staff point of view.
I think we're gonna try to, between the public works staff and myself, we're gonna try to see if we can tackle it and put a French drain in there and try to see if we can help with that problem.
Okay. Any questions of Brian at this time regarding the two library items?
I don't know. Do you think we can move forward with those, knowing the funding can come from the account?
for
with
the.
And use the
French drain.
90,000 for the library?
Yeah.
And then just finish up with that account and be done with it? Or what does the committee want to do?
I mean, so we'd be about at least 40,000 short then. So are we looking at maybe one item or both of them? And
I guess if the flat roof was installed as part of the 2008 edition, so it.
Probably that'd be
it
better.
Could probably make it a year yet. I think if you had to prioritize, I'm assuming.
Right, yeah. It's kind of one of those things that's getting to the end of what they would tell you what its life is. And that's kind of why it's in the budget. It's one of those things, better fix it before we have an issue or replace it before we have an issue than when we do have an issue.
Okay, well,
The park board had the,
a lot of people that use those rooms all the time.
yeah, well, put it this way, pick one.
There you
the
go.
park board prioritized the flat roof.
I'd prioritize the roof if it was me.
They
I
put
mean,
the roof as number one.
When the roof was installed, I don't remember what year roof we put in, if that was thought it was a 20-year roof that we put in on that building.
I don't know. I don't know, but I remember was it after the remodel?
Yeah,
Yeah, it had to have been after the remodel.
Yeah.
We had to
Yeah.
go back and do it after the remodeling.
Yep,
So,
because it's part of the, would be part of the remodel project.
I don't remember. I'll make a motion to move forward the flat roof replacement 26-1 for the library with the funding to come from the fund balance from the library money.
Second.
motion by Mayor Kim, second by Alder Jim to
Thanks, Brian.
move the flat roof replacement in our library, LB 26-1, in the amount of $55,000, and that the funding would come from the current remaining balance of the library fund. Discussion. Hearing none, all those in favor of said motion say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries unanimously. We are now up to the Omni Center.
Again, I'll jump in and then Brian is here to help with anything. So the park board did prioritize these items. The first two items, you do not see on your sheet on this page that you're showing because event supplies and ceiling tile replacement, we have, I have proposed that we take that out of the tourism. So that would be find that farther back in the pages that you're looking at. So going down to this list, we have the highest priority item number for the park board is Arena 1 AC replacement. That's 26-2. This is with the amount of events and things we have in the front building. This unit is original with it, with Arena 1, and it's a water-based system. So when we get to this time of year, we are having to dump that system and put more water in just so we don't freeze when we have events going on in cooler temperatures, when we still need air conditioning. The next project is the Arena 2 chiller. This item has been on for a number of years. 26-3. This is to replace the chilling unit to make ice in Arena 2. The next item is the Omni Center generator. This had a lot of discussion at the park board. We now are a facility that people utilize. The Onalaska, a number of the local school districts utilize us for reunification sites and things like that. If we ever get in a situation, we have no power, we wouldn't be able to house them. This also is not, to clarify, this is not to run our chiller system, to keep ice. This is to keep the lights on, keep heating the building and things of that nature. So a generator is not, we're not looking for a generator to keep ice during those times of the year. And then the last project was carpet the entrances of the Omni, our entrance 2. Basically all other areas of the building, we have replaced the flooring. This is back to the original that was put in 2011. So again, those were in the order that the park board had prioritized them.
Thank you, Dan. Any questions of Dan Wick at this time regarding those items?
I have a question, if I could, Diane, with
Sure.
Sabrina. Is it possible that chiller has been on for a bit, and on any given year, 1.1 is a huge hit. Is there any way that we can start putting funds away over, say, a 3-year period or something like that in order to make sure that we can get that item? Because otherwise, the 1.1 I know is daunting.
It's definitely something that we could bond for over 2 years. I wouldn't want to bond over anything further than that. It's something that we, if we were to have a good year in regards to excess revenues, we could move some money towards the purchase of a new chiller, if that were the will of the council. So there are definitely options for that. if that is,
But aren't we already using our excess funds to pay for the fire truck?
we already bought the fire truck. We used,
Okay, so, but we need to replenish is what I'm getting at. That was a substantial hit, and the whole idea is we'd replenish the excess funds in order to get those interest-bearing accounts back up again.
correct. So if we were to, you know, continue to spend out of equipment replacement, then that balance would continue to go down, obviously.
And the interest we make off it obviously would also then go down, which means we'd have a bigger shortfall for the taxpayers.
Correct.
Mayor Kim.
Maybe this is Brian or Dan. Probably either of you can answer it. So what is and I'm sorry if I should know this, but I can't remember. What is the condition of the AC replacement at Arena One? Like, is it failing, or is this end of useful life, or is it like run to fail situation? I'm assuming
It's original from the 96,
run to
92
fail
building.
situation right now. It's original.
Yeah, it's original from when the building was built originally. And when, like Dan said, when the spring starts, I won't put water in it, and we'll already have had 2-3
Oh,
events
that's right.
when we need air, but we don't want to put air in it because we're too cold at night and we'll freeze up the water, and then I'll have a bigger problem than what we have now. So that's kind of the big thing is we would change the way that we utilize. We would probably use a glycol system rather than a water system in it. And right now, this chiller would not handle glycol. We couldn't change this to a glycol system.
It's coming back to me now. I knew I should know what it was, but I just was.
And currently we have there's 2 fans that we bypass in the system. There's 12 fans on the unit. We actually have 2 fans that we have shut off because I didn't want to buy new fan motors for them. So I figured we could try to get by, and as long as we're able to keep everything else running good, we can get by without those. They're like the last fans on. So we're able to bypass it without them running.
Thank you for that. In the interest of just keeping things moving, I'll make a motion that we move forward the Arena One AC replacement item 26-2 to the capital improvement budget.
I'll second.
Motion by Mayor Kim, second by Sabrina. I'm just writing my notes. To move forward with Arena Number 1 AC replacement, OC 26-2 in the amount of $400,000. Discussion. Hearing none, all those.
Oh, Dan has a question.
Sorry.
Just to clarify, Mayor, the first 2 items that you don't see in this category because it's later on in tourism, will you address it under tourism?
Yeah, I thought we would just, if you just bring them back up, that's no problem. Just because I didn't see them here.
No, I just wanted to verify, so thank you.
And I'm assuming they'll be okay because of the funding mechanism. But Diane, could we take a short break, or how long, are we going to a time, or are we going to a place in the schedule?
I
We
was
have-
just going to say.
We have other business
We
too.
haven't voted yet, did we?
No, I was,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
I was just going to suggest, once we get done with the bottom of page 6, that we take a quick little break.
Okay,
So.
but we didn't vote.
No. Any other discussion? Questions? No, hearing none. All those in favor of motion to approve OC 26-2, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries unanimously. There has been a request to take a little break, and I wholeheartedly agree.
Thank you.
I can only sit so long.
Be back at 6, 10 minutes?
5 minutes
5
even?
minutes.
I just-
Yeah, I mean, everyone should be, oh. See, we have all voting members here, yes. Okay, thank you everyone for that. I'm giving back after that little break.
What is the next page?
We are now at the top of page 7, formerly 2/4, is Parks and Recreation. So,
Okay, so
Yeah.
I will go through these items again, in the order that the park board had prioritized them last week. So the number 1 item that the park board had is a Gulliston tennis court shade structure. It's 26-3. This is a project in Roe Park. We have cost shares with the school district. This is a project the school district has been wanting to do. And so this would be a share between the two. So it's a $70,000 project. And they would come in between at the Gullickson tennis courts, between we have 6 courts, between the 3 courts, we have a seating area. And what this would be is that there would be a shade structure that we'd put in over top to provide some shade for people watching and players in between games. Number 2 project is the park shop, or park maintenance shop design. Looking at our park shops, probably the oldest facility we have in the city, is trying to get some ideas on what we need to do in looking at replacement of our shop down the road. So that's project 26-4. That was number 2. Number 3 and 4 to get, well, 3 is the Lions Shelter roof and gutter replacement, 26-1. Number 4 is the Glenn Fox roof and gutter replacement, 26-2. The next project is the Wellington Green Soccer Field project, 26-5. This is one that I've been working with legal counsel on. I believe the funding from this can come from our park fund. That would not have to use the general fund. This would come from other sources and come from the park fund. Number 6 is the Oak Knoll Playground Project, 26-7. Number 7 is the Rowe Park Playground Project, 26.6. We've made a very heavy emphasis on replacing our playgrounds and doing 1 or 2 playgrounds a year. These got pushed down to items this year because we are going to be doing the All Abilities Playground, and we have 2 playgrounds that'll be installed in the spring of next year. So knowing that we're getting, basically 3 playgrounds in the 25 budget process with the All Abilities Park and the install in the spring of 26 for the other 2. That's why these items were moved down that list. And then the last project, 26-9, I think in Park Rec, we must struggle on numbering because we skipped the number 8. But it's would be the waterfront design, planning and design. We spent a lot of money down at the waterfront, and actually working with our public works director, Mr. Holter, we did put something in there to try to get it on there as a placeholder that going forward of future investments on some of the projects and the work that's been done in this area.
Thank you, Dan. Questions of Dan Wick at this time? What is the pleasure of the board this evening?
Okay, well, I guess for starters, I'll make a motion, and then if someone else wants to make an additional motion, they can. I would want to move forward the Gullickson Tennis Court project, which is PR 26-3, and the Wellington Greens project 26-5, with the condition that park fund money can be used. I would like to move forward those 2 projects.
I'll second.
Motion by Mayor Kim, seconded by Sabrina, to move forward with PR 26-3 in the amount of $35,000, Gullickson Tennis Court Shade Structures, and item number 2, PR 26-5, Wellington Greens Soccer Field, in the amount of $250,000, with the caveat that the funding would possibly come from the park fund. Discussion, Mr. Larry.
Yeah, I'd like to also add 26.-4, the park maintenance design.
Is that an amendment?
Yeah, is that it?
I'll second that amendment.
Okay, motion by Alder Larry, second by Mayor Kim, as amending the motion to add the park maintenance shop design PR 26-4 in the amount of $25,000. Alder Jim.
Question on PR 26-1 and 2. When you talk about a roof and gutter, I know if you don't, you end up with more problems.
Jim, is your mic on?
You end up with more problems if you don't do the roof and gutter. Is it possible to put this aside for a year, or is this something that if you don't do it, you're going to have water leaks and end up with more problems?
Yeah, Jim, I'll have Lane address this.
Welcome. Thank you for coming tonight, Lane.
Yeah, so for these park shelters, It's more so being proactive on the approach for these. Our original roofs, they're metal roofs on there. They are very weathered. They look a little rough. So it was trying to improve the roof aesthetics as well as the gutter functions. Currently, the gutters are a little damaged. The downspouts are all kind of smashed from kids. But they still function and we don't have leaks inside the shelters. So it's more just kind of being proactive on the approach. They certainly can wait a year or two if we need to.
Thank you.
And following up with what Alder Jim just mentioned and Lane's response, I did listen in on last week's Parks and Rec Board meeting. And that is what I distinctly remember, that it was more about the aesthetics, but I totally agree with Alder Jim. You know, when it comes to anything that needs to be fixed and replaced, when we're talking roofs and such, I typically am going to support that, but I won't be at this time. So any other questions, discussion? Right now, I have an amended motion on the floor to put forth PR 26-4 for $25,000. Oh, Mayor Kim?
I just think we made the amendment and seconded it, but I don't think we voted on the amendment unless someone caught
didn't.
that. And
I don't think we,
No, we should
Yeah.
vote on the amendment
I might
first.
have lost.
Do the amendment first, huh?
Yeah, I think we need to vote on the
right,
amendment.
and that, right, the shop designs amendment, right. So all those in favor of amending the motion of the amendment PR 26-4 in the amount of $25,000, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries unanimously. And going back to the original motion, now with the amended motion, that will include PR 26-3, PR 26-4, PR 26-5 in the respective amounts of $35,000, $25,000, and $250,000. Again, the Wellington Greens was with the caveat, money come from the park fund. Any discussion? All those in favor of the amended motion say aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries unanimously. Thank you very much. Thank you, Lane and Dan. Parks and, planning.
I'm gonna take those.
Sure, Jared.
So in the planning, you know, the projects we have every year under planning, it's kind of a group, public works, parks and planning project, but urban forestry general, 30,000, we do take citizen requests for trees to be planted in the boulevard. And we also use some of that money to plant trees in various public spaces around the city. I would put that as the first priority of the list. The second one listed was PL 26-2, which is the urban forestry planning zone. We had 10 different planning zones identified in the study from about 4 years ago. And I think we've only done about 1.5 of those. So that is another trying to infill areas where we are lacking canopy within the city. PL 26-3 is actually one brought forward to the planning department from the Public Works Engineering Department as a pedestrian study citywide for 100,000. That was identified in our comprehensive plan as one of the key items as pedestrian connectivity within the city and where we would go with that is for various trails, sidewalks and things like that. And PL 26-4 is a sustainability study for 40,000. That's been on the list for some time, and I know the mayor likes to give some input on that usually. So
You said the mayor would like to give input?
she usually will give a little input on that one too. So
Mayor Kim, would you like to have a moment?
Actually, I would say that I would like to make a motion just to try to move things along. To move forward, the first two items, the PL 26-1 and 2, regarding the urban forestry program. I make a motion, we move those two forward on round 1 here.
Second,
Motion by Mayor Kim, second by Alder Larry to move forward with the PL 26-1 urban forestry general in the amount of 30,000 and PL 26-2 urban forestry planting zone in the amount of $50,000. Any discussion? Mayor Kim?
And then when we come back on round 2, I would be a strong advocate for the pedestrian study, depending upon where we're at. But also that is something that maybe we might be able to look to try to find, I mean, I know everyone always says this, but like some kind of grant, or if we do the pedestrian study, it might make us more eligible for some grants if we have that information. So that's something that we can keep in our mind that, you know, it would cost money to do that, but it might help us in the long run and also help us having a better vision for the future of our community and having multimodal transportation available. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion? All those in favor of passing the PL 26-1 and PL 26-2 forward, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, motion carries unanimously. Police. Chief Ashbeck, welcome tonight.
All right, thank you. Good evening. So yes, project number 126-1 is our marked police vehicles. As every year, we go through our rotation of vehicles to keep up maintaining our vehicles. So that's kind of a standard item here. Second item, 26-2, is our proposed second EV charging station. We are in our trial period here with these first two vehicles. And so I wanted to at least get this in the budget in the event that we do want to continue to move forward with that. And as of right now, I would say we've had a very positive experience with our vehicles. We're about between 1 to 2 months in with both vehicles. And we have been saving a lot of money every shift, which costs us between $1 to $3 a shift to operate a vehicle as compared to $15 to $20 a shift in gasoline. So our return on investment is going to be maybe 18 months on a vehicle. And so I anticipate moving forward with this, but we still have a few months to go before we have to make that decision whether or not. So I would like to get this at least in the budget. The third project is our portable radios. This is to purchase 5 radios over time. Like every year, I would try to budget 5 radios so that it's not such a big hit of radios. And this is just to continue replacing this equipment as our radios progress or age to bring in new radios. And then lastly, the 26-4 radio booster project. That's the Omni Center project. We have not had a chance to complete that project yet. And so I anticipate probably in the beginning of next year, we'll go out for RFP bids on that project. And with the cost of all goods rising and whatnot, I fear that our amount that was approved last year or for this year's capital improvement budget was not going to suffice with new bids coming in. So I'm just trying to be proactive in having enough money to finish that project.
Thank you, Chief. I have 2 quick questions. Are your 26-1 through 4, are they in the order of priority?
Correct.
Thank you. And number 2, under the marked police vehicles, how much does $175,600 get us? How many vehicles? 2?
2.
2 little vehicles.
Yeah, sadly.
Wow. Okay. Alder Larry?
Excuse me. Thank you, Chief. Chief, with the EV, are they both vehicles on at the same time?
You said on shift?
Yes.
Yes.
So when do you only got 1 charging station or you got 2 charging stations?
We have 1 charging station that has 2 cables on it, so we can charge 2 vehicles at the same time.
Okay.
And I have prepped with conduit on the first charger when they had dug up the parking lot. So now it's very easy and less expensive for the electrician to come in next year to install that second charger.
Any other questions? Chair will entertain a motion.
Yeah, I'll make a motion now. We accept all 4 items the police department has put forward.
I'll second.
Motion by Alder Larry, second by Alder Jim, to move forward with PD 26-1 through 4. Discussion.
May I speak, Chair?
Absolutely. Welcome, Alder Nottigan.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm in support of 1, 2, and excuse me, 1, 3, and 4. On the EV charger station, I know about maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago, I'd asked the city administrator if we could get a report after 1 year, including a full winter cycle and what have you, to see what the actual savings are over an annual basis on this. And we don't have that yet, so we're still taking a leap of faith. But the second thing I want to bring up is that the government subsidies for purchasing more electric vehicles end this year. So we will not have those subsidies when we purchase these vehicles, unless Chief knows something I don't. I've read quite a few articles on this. So just understanding that if we're going to be committing to buying more electric vehicles by getting another charging station, they are not going to cost the same. They're going to be 30, was it 30 or 30, what was the subsidy? Was it 30 or 38%? It's quite a bit more expensive than when we got them. So I would recommend that we do not do that this year, and that when we get an annual report and we see what the actual costs will be in the future, we can always do it next year. It's not a high dollar item.
Thank you, Stephen. Chief Ashbeck?
Yes, I just like to note that we did not receive any incentives for these first two vehicles. There are no incentives for a government to purchase these because it's a tax credit. And so the cost of these two vehicles initially were about $7,000 higher than our gas cars. And that's where I say our return on investment is going to be about 18 months in gas savings. So the remainder 3.5 years, we're going to be saving probably between $3,000 and $5,000 a year in gas. So the fact that the EV credit's going away does not affect us in any way.
And you may be right, Chief, that we'll still be saving money anyway. I did not know that, by the way, so thank you. But the other issue is right now you're going off of data from summertime and not wintertime, when we'll get less battery life out of each one of those cars. They'll need to charge more often.
Yeah, I'd also report that we're only using about 15% of our battery for a shift. So even if in the winter it doubles, that's only 30%. So we're finding that we can run anywhere from 2 to 3 shifts before we even have to charge. So even if, like I said, in the wintertime, even if the costs double, I mean, we're spending $5 a shift to operate instead of $2, $2.50 at best.
Chief, at what
Thank
point
you.
in time will we have a 1 year overview?
Our first car got deployed in early July. So next year, early July.
Of last year?
No, this summer.
This year, okay.
Yep.
Okay. Oh, Sabrina?
Thank you. So Chief, question, the 175,600 for the marked police vehicles, would that be if we were to get 2 EV vehicles, or would that be gas vehicles or hybrid?
So I did budget them as EV vehicles. And so if we did decide to go back to gas cars, we could shave off, roughly $7,000, $8,000 per vehicle on that price.
Thank you.
But we'd have to increase my gas budget because I did decrease that for next year.
I guess a follow-up question to that would be, I would presume during the winter months, we would spend more on gas too than we do in the summer months to run the vehicles, or no? Because of heat was my.
It's probably fairly similar because between running air conditioning or running the heat in the squad cars to keep the equipment going, it's probably fairly similar. One interesting thing I would just note is our solar system on the city hall. It produced today 500 kilowatt hours, which will run one squad car for an entire month, a shift for the whole month, just one day of what our solar produced.
Mayor Kim?
Okay, so just in the interest of moving forward, we have a motion on the floor. I'm going to suggest that we'll move forward with this. And if we want to come back later and make an adjustment, we can do that at the next meeting. But let's just go ahead with this motion and see where it takes us, if everyone's okay with that.
So the motion on the floor is to approve under police items PD 26-1 through 4. And the total amount for those 4-line items is $232,600. Discussion? Any more? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor of said motion to move those 4 items forward for now, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries unanimously. Public Works.
So in your list, obviously, Public Works, we typically have quite a few projects, so I would, I guess we could do this a couple different ways. I could just start at the top and go through. I would say we would probably want to go through and do a few as we're going along. I don't know if we want to wait till the end and try and do them, or you want to try and wait till, just go through them all and wait till the end, or what would you like to do?
What would make the most sense for us, not you, for us?
Can you give us the projects that would affect the mortgage revenue bond?
Yes, so the mortgage revenue bond, if we were to do the mortgage revenue bond, the projects at the end of the list, project 26-3, 26-4.
Okay, hold on, 26-4, that would be mortgage.
Yep.
Move on.
So the
The
well,
Wall Street paving, Public Works 26-3, and the Pierce and 7th North Street reconstruction 26-4 would be part of the mortgage revenue bond.
Did you say 26-3 and 26-4?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
I'm proposing as part of the mortgage revenue bond that Poplar Street, which is halfway down, 26-17, and Third Avenue North, which is 26-18, would be placed, moved forward to the 27 budget.
Just those two you're talking about, not the
Correct.
first two. Okay,
So
so
those
the
would be
first two were
tho-
26.
Those will not need to be funded. It's my recommendation, we remove the Abbey Road Westerly Extension, Public Works 26-14 above it. We may get a request from a developer for a reimbursement, but we'll cross that bridge when we get it. On the backside of page 8, there's 2 projects. I would say that the East Plaza Park reconstruction, Public Works 26-6 is part of the mortgage revenue bond, but that will be moved to 27 also. And 6th Avenue North reconstruction, Public Works 26-7 is a project that is part of the mortgage revenue bond that we would like to do with those other projects in 26, but that would be probably the lowest priority of the ones that are in there. So did that make sense that's confusing, I know, but
But we would be funding the 26 and the 27 with the mortgage revenue bond?
correct.
Now I got to go to the other sheet,
And the back side of the sheet.
that one.
Wait, wait, the other,
Somewhere.
oh, you mean the one,
The way, the last pages of the summary.
that we were just doing?
The one that Jim was astutely realizing wasn't the same as the.
I'm still trying to get to the sheets that we were originally doing, where everyone is coming up.
It's at the end ones.
So are you talking about pages 11 and 12?
Yeah,
Oh, not 7 and 8. Oh, okay. 11, it doesn't help.
because
that-
they're not 100% mortgage revenue bond, or are they?
I'm not sure what you're trying to say. or-
Kevin knows what I'm saying. Am I wrong?
so
They are separate, right? For when we talk about mortgage revenue bonds, right? Think of 2 hats of funding, right?
Right.
The utility's gonna pay for
Yep.
some of these, right?
Yes.
And the GO bond is
Correct.
gonna pay. So that's what you're asking, right?
Yes.
Yeah, right. So that's why when Jared noted some of those mortgage revenue bonds in 27 on your
Yes.
sheets, We would not have to cover the general fund portion of that this year. Those will be items, if you approve the mortgage revenue bond or council does later this fall, we would then automatically have to add those to next year's 27 capital to pay the general portion of that. So the mortgage revenue bond is going to be 2 years of utility projects, but we're only going to fund it 1 year at a time with general.
Okay.
Got that.
So for our list tonight, we don't need to put on the 27 items.
My recommendation would be we would not borrow money for the 2027 general obligation portions of the utility projects.
So
I would
that's,
agree.
26-6 and 20.
But maybe I can go through
17
it.
and
Can
18.
I go through that list just one more time, at least what I heard, so then we're all on the same
Yep.
page. So I'm going to start, and I'm just going from top to
Go
bottom.
in the order, yeah.
Yes, so I'm going all the way down to Abbey Road Westerly Extension, PW 2614. Jared recommended to remove.
Remove that project, correct?
The next item, right underneath Poplar Street, PW 26-17, mortgage revenue bonds for 2027.
Correct.
And then also likewise, the one right underneath Third Avenue North, PW 26-18. That's also mortgage revenue bonds for 2027. Then moving down to the last 3 or 4 on the very bottom, Well Street paving, PW 26-3, mortgage revenue bond 2026. And Pierce and Seventh Avenue North Street reconstruction, PW 26-4. I heard mortgage revenue bond also 26.
Correct.
Yeah, that's one thing I didn't have. And then the next page is, the next 2 is East Plaza Park reconstruction, PW 26-6, mortgage revenue bond for 27, and Sixth Avenue North reconstruction, PW 26-7. I got to read my notes. Mortgage revenue bond 2026, but that's your lowest priority.
Correct.
Okay. Are we all on the same page on?
Yep.
And all I want to mention at this point is that, oh no, we'll talk about that on our discussion.
The only other thing I would add is what you alluded to earlier was the Third Avenue project, and that probably is the worst section of street in the city. We could flip-flop a project, but part of what we are, from a staffing perspective and trying to get the work done, that is the easiest project for us to consult out. So as much as I hate putting it off for another year, just with our staffing and we, amount of engineering work here, we feel that's the one that would be easiest to have designed by a consultant next year. And then we could get it and bid it right away in the first quarter of 27 to be built in, early summer of 27 would be our goal.
So my only and I follow exactly what you're saying. So we go ahead, we bond mortgage revenue bonds for 2 years, 26 and 27. How locked in is that? That Third Avenue North would be done barring a council comes in and says, no, we're not going to do that. Is it always changeable by a vote?
My recommendation would be is that we are committed to the project like we are with the state projects where we receive funding. If we've got 3/4 of the project funded through the mortgage revenue bond, it would be prudent to bond the rest of the money through the general obligation bond in 27 to finish it. Assuming we get the permits and assuming the project gets designed and everything.
Now legally, are we allowed to, like if some council came in and said, oh, no, we changed our mind. We want to divert that money. I mean, I know sometimes when we have money left over that we go ahead, you find some other things that were on the list that we wanted to fund, but we ran out of money, and which has been great that we've been able to do a few more road projects. But my concern is, if I'm not here, I want Third Avenue done because I've been talking to these people for years. You've heard them for years. And there's a lot of people there. It's not just some little corner. There's a lot of people on that street and they've waited a long time. So that's my point.
I think the mortgage revenue bond would be written in a way that that project would be in there. So we would be committed to it. Would be my understanding.
Okay. If I'm not here, I'll be standing at that microphone to make sure we get Third Avenue. It's if you haven't driven, I certainly invite you to drive it. Mayor Kim?
Okay, so now I'm looking at our original list that Jared did the highlights, the Highway 16 water crossing, which was a 25.
I gotta find that. Hold on, just 1 second.
And that one isn't on here.
Are we?
That's
talking-
all water funded.
Are
Oh,
we talking pages
okay.
11,
So
12, or
that was the other,
Okay,
I think you're
So
gonna get,
that- so I
you're
can
you're gonna
just
get
say-
confused if you go back. This is
okay, so.
these are the
can you-
priorities for the general fund.
Okay, so can you tell us for these, which are your highlights then? Thank you.
No, wait, where are we at? What page?
2 of
Page-
4 or
Page
7.
7.
Okay, perfect. That's where I'm at too.
Jared knows. Thank you, Jared.
So for today, I feel you should fund Wall Street and Pearson 7th Avenue because we're going to be doing the mortgage revenue bond for 26, and then 6th Avenue North would be my next recommendation. But we could hold that one in reserve to see where we're at with our funding for available projects. But then realize again, if you push it off this year, you've got more to do in 27.
Mhm. So if I heard you right, your first one to prioritize would be the PW 26-4 Pierce.
Yes, along with PW 26-3. Those are companion projects because
Yes, okay.
they're adjoining one another.
You don't do one without the other. And
No.
then as a backup would be, I think I heard you say 6th Avenue North.
Correct.
Can you tell me what number that one is?
26-7 be the last one on page 8.
Okay.
And we're only talking about mortgage revenue bonds right now.
These are projects that are going to get funded. The water and sewer portion will be funded through the mortgage revenue bond.
Thank you.
So that would be the reason to fund these projects. But you're at 187 plus 178, so you're at 350. You're at
917,000.
You're at 900,000 between those two projects.
If we did the question mark one.
Correct.
So what would it be if we added the 26-7? Is that included in that or not?
If you.
We still haven't done our annual
items-
pavement maintenance.
We haven't got there yet.
So if we did items 26-3, 26-4, and 26-7, that's 917,000.
6.
And the first two are. for
And you want
2026. Oh, I guess they're all 2026. Okay.
Where's the 6?
No, that one's gonna wait till 2027.
Correct.
Oh,
Yeah. With a mortgage revenue bond 27, yeah. So if we put these forward, do we want to go ahead and note for the motion that the mortgage revenue bonds for 26 and 27?
I think we'll cover that when we get to the water and sewer portion of
Yeah.
the budget.
Okay,
I think they'll connect it for us.
Okay.
They're way ahead of us.
Want them out?
I don't think we're ready to make a motion. I think that what we're trying to do is because the 6th Avenue North is tied up with the potential of being in the mortgage revenue bond, we want to approve it. I want to approve it. But if we do so, we're affecting our capacity of doing a lot of the other projects, like look at everything on page 2 of 4 or 7. We need to do some of these projects, and it's going to be really hard to do them if we include that third item, the 6th Avenue North, because we still have to do our sidewalk, our pavement maintenance. We still have to do some of these other things.
Now, all the other items on page 7 under Public Works. They would all be
Actually, the end loader under Public Works 26-24 and the Public Works Facility roof repairs under 26-25. Those are relatively smaller amounts, but those would both be tied into the mortgage revenue bond too.
So end loader 2624 for 25,000 and Public Works Facility roof repairs 26-25 for 20,000
For 26? You're 20.
For 26, correct.
for 2026.
I'm going to make a motion that we put into the capital improvement budget projects 26-24 for the unloader, 26 25 for the Public Works Facility roof repairs, Wall Street paving for Public Works 26 3, Pierce and Seventh Avenue North Street reconstruction 26 4. That's my motion. That they get included.
At East Avenue.
I'll second
We'll
that.
get there.
So
I'll
you-
second
you said
that.
4 items, correct?
Correct.
Yeah,
I,
at
I,
at least
my
we'll-
motion does not include,
Yeah,
does not include Sixth Avenue at this time.
I think we can all agree on that.
Yeah, so motion by Jared was a second by Mayor Kim.
Yep.
Okay, to move forward the end loader, PW 26 24, Public Works Facility roof repairs, PW 26 25, the Wall Street paving, PW 26 3, and the Pearson Seventh Avenue North Street reconstruction, PW 26 4, all for mortgage revenue bonds 2026. Discussion.
That'd be general operating general fund debt that also is tied to a mortgage revenue bond project.
46-7 is not on the list anymore.
26 7, I did not make a motion to approve at this time.
Right. There's always another month or two. So, so that's the motion. Any further discussion? All those in favor of said motion say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries unanimously.
So we've covered the mortgage revenue bond projects. Now I'll start at the top of the public works list with Sand Lake Road Street Lighting Project Public Works 25-18A. This is a TIF funded project for TIF number 5. So the TIF is actually no general fund impact. So I would make a motion, we leave in Sand Lake Road Street Lighting for $300,000 with TIF funding.
I'll second.
Motion by Jared, second by Mayor Kim to push forward the PW 25-18A in the amount of $300,000. Discussion. Hearing none, all those in favor of said motion say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries unanimously. As a quick backup, we're talking down there by Aspenson's.
Traditional trades, yes, on
Thank
Sand Lake Road.
Perfect.
It beats new streetlights between from Rolling Oaks to County Trunk Highway SN.
And note that was going to be TID number 5 funding.
Correct.
Are they the decorative lights or
They
the
are.
standard?
They
light?
are decorative lights to match what's existing.
Where did we put the ones that I've said, we've saved a bunch of 10, 15, 20,000. A few years ago, we just put in the wood poles. It must have been farther,
It was on that strip, I
it was
think.
on that strip.
No, those are all decorative lights.
Unless you found,
You're talking about the PH roundabout, probably.
no, this
Mm,
was Sand Lake.
it was Sand Lake.
Sand Lake. I
It's
made the
okay.
motion.
We'll go drive out there and look at it. Let's just keep moving.
Yeah.
Unless you found some money. Go on, go.
Double S Crossing Meadows Drive, that is a STP urban project that we have committed to. And then assuming the carbon reduction program state municipal agreement gets approved as part of the next council meeting, East Avenue Sidewalk Connection. So I will make a motion to approve Double S Crossing Meadow Drive Project Public Works 25-19 and for 50,000 and East Avenue Sidewalk Connection Public Works 25-3 for 55,000.
Second.
Motion by Jared, second by Mayor Kim to put forward PW 25-19 and PW 25-3. Discussion. Hearing none, all those in favor of said motion say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion passes unanimously.
Going down the list, we have pavement maintenance for 400,000. That's our yearly crack filling and chip seal that we have done every year to keep our streets where they're at. Off-street trail maintenance is, we have a variety of sections. One trail in particular, Crossing Meadows Trail, it goes behind Sam's Club, needs some repairs to meet ADA requirements. Skyview Edition, that would be our next paving project, but with the other projects we have in the list, I would say that we would not do that project. I would say that would be one that I would not recommend that we move forward with. Irvin Street pedestrian crossing improvements, that was in last year's capital improvements list. That is for rapid flashing beacons and pedestrian improvements at Irvin Street to cross State Trunk Highway 35 and Second Avenue. Maplewood Place paving, that was also in last year's list, Public Works 26-13. That street has a phaser rating of approximately 3. We've already talked about the Abbey Road Extension, Poplar Street, Third Avenue, projects. Probably Center Drive, Public Works 26-19. This is the entrance, from Highway 16 into about Culvers. This is a highly trafficked area, has a lot of, high traffic count. It's original from when the development went in, but I think that could make it another year. So I would recommend that we end up skipping that project. Marker Road Bridge deck ceiling, that bridge was put in 30 years ago and we've done 0 to it. So this would be putting a new bridge deck sealer on that deck to extend the life of it. Does not see a lot of traffic, but it does get, it's on our main salt route going out that way, so it would be a good project to get done. Alley paving between Third and Poplar Street. This was a request from a citizen. It's a relatively small project, but I'm in the opinion the alley is not in that bad a shape. It could actually probably wait a year. We've talked about the end loader and the Public Works facility roof repairs. We have the Elm Street paving, Public Works 26-26. This one is in fairly, it's starting to see the end of its life, so that's one we should discuss further probably. Sidewalk program, sidewalk replacement 26-2A for 250,000. This is our yearly sidewalk program. I would recommend that we would stick with this one. Moving forward, we really need to do this for liability and everything that's associated with just having a good pedestrian system within our city. Sidewalk program miscellaneous 26-2B is 60,000. This is miscellaneous repairs throughout the city. Someone calls in and has a curb and gutter or a handicap ramp or something that we need repaired in the city. This is where we get the funding for those projects, and there's always a lot of calls. Kevin can attest that there's just a lot of failure just with different parts of the city. Sidewalk program, city parks ADA, we're trying to knock off parts of the ADA plan, and we try and do parts of the city parks every year for 40,000. That's Public Works project 26-2C. We already talked about the Wall Street paving, the Pearson 7th reconstruction. We also have the Ironwood Place and Cooley Court paving. That phaser is about a 2.3, I believe. That one was in last year and got deleted. So that's probably another one of the streets that the utilities are good, but the paving is in poor condition. And then we've discussed East Plaza Park and the 6th Avenue North reconstruction. Those are the Public Works general fund, general obligation bonding projects proposed.
Jared, I think you missed the East Avenue sidewalk connection, or my
I
attention.
added that. That was in the motion with double S. That was approved.
Taken care of.
Double S and East Avenue were approved in one motion. Yep.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the pavement maintenance, Public Works 26-1, the sidewalk replacement 26-2A, and the sidewalk miscellaneous 26-2B at this time.
I will second that. Motion by Mayor Kim, second by Alder Diane to approve pavement maintenance PW 26-1, sidewalk program sidewalk replacement PW 26A, and sidewalk program miscellaneous PW 26-2B. Discussion. I'll keep it really short. I think we need to stay on top of the pavement maintenance. Soon as we start sliding, we're just gonna keep sliding, and I will always support concrete and sidewalk program. Any further discussion? Alder Larry.
Can I have one input?
Oops. Alder Not? Go ahead.
Yeah. The Ironwood is a very low Pacer rating right now at 2.3. That roadway is crumbling. I drive by it every day.
You seen Third Avenue North?
I would agree. That's probably one of our lower phaser ratings, but we could address that in the next motion if you'd like.
Jared, what would you, just a question, what Pacer would be Third Avenue North? Just
It's probably going to get reevaluated at, well, depends which section you're in. If you're in the section that is the 300-foot section that's terrible, it's probably like a 1. If the other sections are probably between a 2 and a 3.
okay. I just couldn't remember.
Yep.
Alder Larry.
Yeah. I'd like to see added the off-street trail maintenance with the addition of all the land that we just purchased. Different, that's gonna be part of that, correct?
No.
Maintenance trail,
No.
anything up there, or is that?
No, off-street trail maintenance would be like the bicycle facilities, pedestrian facilities we have along like Sand Lake Road, along, we maintain everything along Highway 35. In particular, Crossing Meadows, if you've ever walked the Crossing Meadows path, there's quite a few spots that are could use some assistance. So it would be those areas, not only sealing some of the newer stuff and then replacing what we can in the other spots.
That goes to that tunnel that goes underneath?
Goes to the tunnel under 157, correct, to the Mayfair addition.
Alder Larry, for sake of time, would you mind if we were to vote on the motion that's on the floor right now? And then once we get that done, then you could do whatever you wish? I promise, I'll call on you first.
All right.
So the motion on the floor is to approve PW 26-1, PW 26-2A, and PW 26B. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of said motion say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries unanimously. Alder Larry, would you like to put forth something, please?
Yeah, the off-street trail maintenance, the problem with that is extremely bad. I've seen people trip out there and everything else. So I'd be more concerned about litigation than anything else on any of the other areas that we have around here.
Is that a form of a motion?
Yes, please.
Okay. So I have a motion on the floor by Alder Larry for the off-street trail maintenance, PW 26-10, in the amount of $125,000. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Motion by Alder Larry, second by Mayor Kim. Discussion. Quick question, Kevin. Is this the stretch that you took me through and it was really rough? It's like behind in the.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so this is
Oh, yeah.
behind Sam's Club.
Yeah,
right?
that's
Bar.
It
bad.
runs along.
It's
Rockies.
bad.
It's in.
Yeah.
Totally agree, it's needed. The only reason I was hesitating on moving forward with it
Mhm.
is if the budget was, if we were at the end and it was super tight, I was considering a lesser amount, but I'm totally comfortable with moving. I think it's needed and I'm glad we're moving ahead with it. So
I mean,
I'll vote in favor of this.
it's something that can
Now,
always be
would that
cut
be
later. but-
extended all the way out to the tire place?
No, it'd
Right
just
now
be,
it's-
we'd look at where it ends and try and naggle it in, but we haven't even, I don't know exactly what we're gonna have for a decision on exact,
It'll get
Execution of the work.
started.
yeah.
Larry,
Okay.
can't promise we'll
Yeah.
go end to end from 12th Avenue South over to where the bridge is under 157, but it'll be a good start to that replacement. We'll try to pick the worst areas.
Right, thank you.
So we have a motion right? Yes, we do.
Mhm.
Off-street
second
trail
it.
maintenance, thank you. For PW 26-10, any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of said motion say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries unanimously. Next.
I would say we'd move on to the
Yeah, I think
utilities
we
just
better.
for the sake of trying to, well, just, I think I'd like to, from the public works standpoint, I'd like to get to where we are at the end of the night and then we can make more decisions at the next meeting, I think, for
We don't want to not have anything left for anybody else.
Okay, so we are now. The
I
same.
do agree with Alder Knott's statement that I would say that Maplewood and Cooley Court are probably as far as street paving, just without utilities underneath it, are probably the next street to get done.
I remember Kevin took me out over there too, and I could close my eyes and I knew which one was worse. I mean, it was just really obvious. They were not in great shape.
You're referring to Ironwood, right?
Yeah, Ironwood and Cooley Court, yep,
Yep.
correct.
They were rough. So we're turning the page and going to sanitary sewer utility. Is that what we're doing?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of these projects are all part of the mortgage revenue bond. I actually, other than the Abbey Road Westerly extension, I can go through all these, but I think I would recommend that all of these projects are actually done. I can go through them quick and just
Would you please?
we can kind of act upon them as a whole, I'm thinking, so
I have one question first. Dan Wick, I thought we were going to come back to tourism.
it's coming.
Okay,
It's coming. It's coming.
okay, thank you.
We'll catch him on the way.
Oh, yeah, it's the following. page.
Yeah.
All right.
So we got sanitary sewer utilities, the fiber connection to Wisknet. We already talked about that. The sanitary sewer is going to pay for part of that project because we share in that facility. Also security camera upgrades at the Public Works facility. If we do decide not to fund the cameras in the general fund portion, then we'll have to discuss whether we take this one out of the mortgage revenue bond or we commit to doing it in 27. So that would be one, because currently it is not funded in as part of your IT section of your general fund outlay.
So the sanitary sewer would take the full brunt of the 20,000.
Well, the 20,000 is their share. That project is 120,000. It's just the general
That's right.
fund is a portion, sewer as a portion, and yeah.
That's right. Yep, yep. So the fiber connection for the Westnet, this is MRB 26,
IT 26-14.
but I mean, it's mortgage revenue bond for 2026?
Correct,
Okay.
correct.
And your thoughts about the security cameras? That would also be I'm calling it MRB.
The MRB, the mortgage revenue bond is in 26, but you did not fund the general obligation fund portion of it. So
Okay.
then I would say that you should either you're committing to it in 27 or you take it out of the mortgage revenue bond entirely.
So right now,
Yeah, I gotta go back.
right
Yep.
now, I'm making a note that we would want to move forward the fiber connection.
Yes,
At
we
least-
already approved that in the, as part of the IT
So
budget.
we wouldn't even need to approve it.
No,
again.
because you already have.
Okay,
Already
but-
approved.
and if, yeah,
Oh, the
okay.
Westnet, okay,
Go ahead, Jarrett, sorry.
thank you.
So then working down the list, we've have removed the Abbey Road Westerly extension. We have talked about Poplar Street and Third Avenue moving to 27. SCADA upgrades, we are looking at radio replacements and various SCADA upgrades. And the SCADA system is the supervisory control and data acquisition. This is what controls all 27 remote sites within our water and sewer and storm sewer system. So you can see that there is no general fund funding for that. That's all utilities. The end loader, which was split between various utilities and partially in the general fund, which was included in the general fund motions. Public facilities roof repairs, we do have, I didn't mention it before, but we do have leaks on some of the intrusions, various things going out through the roof and some of the seams we have. So that was split between three utilities plus general fund and was included in the general fund motions. Pierce 7th reconstruction was included within the the general fund motions. That's total street reconstruction. East Plaza Park was put off till 27, but would still be part of the mortgage revenue bond for 26 and 27, and 6th Avenue North reconstruction would also be part of the 26, 27 mortgage revenue bond. 6th Avenue North has 4-inch water main on it, so that's part of the reason for plus the street is ready for reconstruction. East Plaza Park would be as part of the Nikolai development. There's 4 existing lots, 3 of them have homes. This would be installing the sanitary sewer along that section, and then we'd be putting a rural section roadway out there. So those are your sanitary sewer projects within the proposed 26, 27. Well, actually, this is the 26. There are some 27 projects that are on the further pages down. Stormwater utilities, those are the same. You're gonna see a lot of duplicates here. Fiber connection to Westnet, security cameras at the Public Works facility. The TID 6 regional storm sewer at 53 in Sand Lake. This is design money for the regional pond. That would be TID paid for. So that would be TID number 5. For the enlargement of the Menards Pond stormwater holding area and getting the pipe across the road for future development. South Kinney storm sewer replacement. This one can actually get deleted. This is getting done as we speak. You approve that as an emergency repair. The South Kinney storm sewer repair is close to Critter Court. That is one where the pipe is ate out. The state actually gave us footage of it, so that has to be done. Once again, you have Poplar Street and Third Avenue. We've discussed those. We've discussed SCADA upgrades. We've discussed the unloader. Public Works Facility roof repairs, Wall Street paving was approved as part of the general fund. Pierce 7th has been approved. East Plaza Park has been moved to 27. 6th Avenue North reconstruction, that is the same project as previously. East Main Street drainage improvements, that is one that is at the corner of Grandview Boulevard and East Main Street. This is a location that we, when we have large rain events, we have street flooding there. The last large rain event we had about 5 years ago, the fire truck actually got stalled out in that intersection as the only, not the only, but as the major east-west connection going toward the commercial area from our current fire station. So that is a high priority. Beverly Hill Drive storm sewer repairs, that was deleted last year, and that is also in here. That pipe is also in need of repair. So those are the storm sewer utility projects for 26. Now we're on to tourism enterprise fund. I can either let Dan take these or I could, you want to take them, Dan?
Yeah, I mean, I can, typically we,
Page 9,
what?
top of page 9.
Yep, it's so the two tourism, let's see what.
We actually have 3. We got security camera upgrades at Great River.
Oh,
Landing.
yes. So we put money in there for security cameras at the Great River Landing out of the tourism fund for down there in that space. We also have the 2 projects. I don't know if I'm reading the same one, Jared. Is this, the other 2 are computer ones?
Ceiling tile replacement and the event.
Yes, yeah, the ceiling tile replacement and the,
Event supplies,
what?
event.
Yes, the event supplies. So we've been trying to fund things, event supplies that we're using for new events and things coming into the Omni, tables, chairs, sound system upgrades, the lighting, things of that nature that we have, that we've been utilizing that, from the tourism fund for it. The ceiling tile replacement, if you go through the building, when you give kids sticks, with the hockey side, they tend to like to smash the ceiling tile. So ceiling tiles in very tough shape up there. Looking to come in and replace that through the building just from the aesthetics and the usability for people coming in for other events that we have in the facility. And the security cameras, as Joe was stating with the other projects that we have, it's just trying to make upgrades down there so that we have cameras that we can utilize.
I move we approve these 3 items.
Second.
Motion by Mayor Kim, seconded by Alder Jim to approve the 3 items under Tourism Enterprise Fund, IT 26-10, OC under Omni Center, OC 26.5, and OC 26.6. Discussion. Hearing none, all those in favor of said motion say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries unanimously.
2026 water utility projects. Once again, we're going through projects we've already discussed. The fiber connection to WISNET, security camera upgrades, public works facility. The State Trunk Highway 16 water main crossing, this is the one that is a priority that even if we don't do a mortgage revenue bond, it has to be completed because this is the last link to get across 16.
It's the last what? It's the last what?
The-
What did you say? Oh, link, thank
The
you.
last link.
Link,
Yeah, the
thank
last
you.
link to serve water out to the Nikolai development.
Got it.
Jared, that one would be funded with a mortgage revenue? bond?
Yes, yes, yep. That's what I'm proposing currently, yes.
Okay.
Abbey Road extension be removed. We've talked about Poplar Street, Third Avenue. We would like to fund $50,000 for PFAS treatment at well number 9. Sabrina, this would be early, not even design. This is like a pilot study and how we feasibility design report for doing it. Sabrina, do we want to do that out of the operating budget, or do you want to put it in here?
I think we can do it out of the operating budget.
Once again, we have the SCADA upgrades project, the unloader, public facility roof repairs, the Wall Street paving project, which was approved in general, Pierce 7th reconstruction, which was paved in general, East Plaza Park, which was moved to 27, and 6th Avenue North reconstruction.
Chair?
Yes, Alder Knott?
Yeah, all right, maybe it's just me, but if I could have clarity on these projects that we're looking at right now, of which of them will be coming from the general fund in 26. Because we've talked, utility funds, we've talked tourism funds, and I understand all those for sure, the ones you already approved. But, then we got the water utility and all that. Which of these that we'd be voting on here, or potentially voting on, which of them are general fund?
So the ones that have general fund impacts, we discussed on page 7. And those projects, we made a motion to approve for the 26 budget that had general fund impacts were the end loader, 26-24, public works facility roof repairs, 26-25, Wall Street paving.
I've got all those, Jared. I do
Okay.
understand them, but are there no new ones on here that are a part of the general fund?
No, these are all the ones you see on there are utility bait. This is the utility funding needed for those projects. So if there's one, if we're approving, let's say under water utility, and we're approving the State Trunk Highway 16 water main crossing, there are no general fund impacts to that project.
Okay. All righty, thanks.
Thank you. What do we need to do next?
Do we need
Oh, boy.
eventually a,
Could we get a subtotal of, do you have a subtotal of the mortgage revenue and the GO?
The ones that we've done to date, that we've passed motions for.
So for the general obligation total right now, I'm at 2,514,900.
That was the general fund?
Correct.
And what's the mortgage revenue?
If I caught all of them from Jared.
Yeah.
which-
Yeah.
we're gonna need an update. We'll need to have an updated list for
Yeah.
next month.
Okay. Can
Obviously,
you
but
just do a guess? Because you knew what it was before
Yeah,
and then you took
so-
a couple
Six
things.
million
We won't
100.
hold you to it.
yeah, it's just
say
over
six.
just over 6 million.
Okay, and so your idea was that you were comfortable with it being 6 million? Because
Correct.
it was encompassing 2 years of
Correct. And-
projects?
And that included the estimates I gave you on rate impacts. We also we had Baird run the bonding numbers for debt service, so we used those numbers in our estimates. And that was the number that I had.
Because the idea is to try to gather it all up in a big group, so if you're going to do it, you want to do it in a
Mhm.
cluster of projects, right?
Mhm.
Okay.
Can you give that general fund number again?
Yep, $2,514,900.
Okay, so what do you need?
That was the general. Okay.
That does not include the fire department.
Correct.
Thing for the fire department.
Correct. That includes all of the projects that we have made motions for to move forward. Which I don't know, Jared, we haven't made a motion to move forward with all of the mortgage revenue bond items.
I think, why don't we get a better list and we'll bring it forward. If that's okay, we'll bring a good list that we can then approve at next month's meeting in one motion.
Because it might be more advantageous to do it holistically rather than separated, because that's confusing.
Chair,
Oh, sorry.
Stephen Knott, yes.
is it possible that when you meet next month that, I don't know if this new program allows it, does it allow notes to be able to add some of this information in and everything we've discussed?
I guess I'm not following what information you're trying to put on.
So Stephen,
Well,
one of the
which ones
things-
are split, which ones are split,
Oh, I got you.
which ones are the mortgage revenue bonds for 26, which ones are 27. I mean, I got my notes all over the place. But
Well-
I just want to make sure that we're all on the same page of music next month. Is there any way, does this program allow notes?
It does. I think the best thing we can probably do is to give you a sheet that looks similar to what we did in the past with all and I think you'll be able to follow it probably fairly sufficiently if we do that, and it would encompass a lot of the not necessarily notes as far as notes, but it would have the different where funding sources are coming from. That's kind of your biggest point, I would assume.
It is.
I think we're probably, yeah, we're all in agreement with that. I mean, I really appreciate that we have a new system and I think we should be taking advantage of it, but yeah, Sabrina?
I'll also get with Jared and we'll try to get it out to you sooner rather than later so you can take a look at it. So it's not just with the packet. So we'll gather our notes from tonight's meeting and get something out within the next week. So
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, everyone. That was good. Whew. I think Jared had some.
Jared?
Just going back, I mean, we really didn't approve anything for the fire department. And my philosophy is we should be trying to do something everywhere. But Chief, what's the, dispatch office remodel? I mean, you're gonna be in that building, even if you get your new fire station, it's 5 years. So to me, I think that's a priority for you, wouldn't it be?
Or is the vehicle?
Or the vehicle? I mean, I get,
Yes.
yeah, so
All to the above.
I mean, their staff is in that room constantly. I
They are.
mean, if there's a room in City Hall, it's occupied 24/7,
Mm-hmm.
or like the police area, that's probably it.
Okay, I move that we approve the dispatch office remodel 2602.
I'll second that.
Motion by Mayor Kim, second by Jared to approve Fire Department 26-02, the dispatch office remodel in the amount of $60,000. Discussion. Hearing none, all those in favor of said motion say aye.
I
Those opposed, motion carries unanimously.
know I just changed the number.
did.
Oh.
So now we are at 2,574,900.
Okay, so we are done with number 4. Right? For now. Moving on number 5. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Final special assessment costs. Where are we at here?
Thank you. In your packet tonight, there are the final special assessment costs from the only project we had this year was the miscellaneous concrete project, and I'll make a motion to approve as in our packet.
Second?
Motion by Jared, second by Alder Jim to approve the final special assessment costs as in our packet. Discussion? Thank you, everyone, for coming in. All those in favor of said motion say aye.
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 Those opposed, motion carries unanimously. Item number 6, update on La Crosse Area Water Stormwater Education Group.
And let
Kevin?
Kevin's in with this group, does great things, so he's gonna give us a little overview.
Yeah, so before you tonight is our sort of midway point for the 25 calendar year, right? La Crosse Area Waters is a consortium, right, of regional municipalities, right, to try to spread the word for stormwater education and outreach. The group does use Habitat for Humanity as our consultant, so just wanted to go over maybe just a few quick points here. Here, probably if you see on page 22, right, we do try to put out some information. We use these signs whenever we do awards. So just trying to point out when you talk about regional, the goal of this group is regional stormwater education, right? You can see we have 20 sites all over the Cooley region, right? So there's a lot of different municipalities that have these sites. So we can educate the general public in each location, in each community. Probably the other main point when you talk about general public outreach would be on page 28. This is the Facebook account they run for us, and for that you can see the numbers in 24 are the annual totals, and the numbers from 25 are through the end of June because we had our meeting. So we are greatly exceeding all the information digital media from last year already through June. So that was a really big thing. They wanted us to point out that we're making a positive impact out there, and our website is now becoming somewhere where maybe people go to reach, they have a drainage issue, right? You start to pop up, and they've actually asked questions through the Habitat, and they will pass those on to us. So Really just the brevity, that was it. This is a great resource. The website, lacrosseareawaters.org, right, is a great place if anybody asks for stormwater educational and for residents, businesses, educational facilities. It's a great outreach and a great group, and just, it's a great group. When we talk about municipalities working together for a common goal, this group does a really good job at it. Thank you.
Any questions of Kevin at this time?
Kevin, what was the name of that group?
The group's technical name is the La Crosse Urban Stormwater Group. But it was formed in 08, 09,
Nine.
somewhere in there. The website page is now lacrosseareawaters.org, right? And it has information on all sorts of different varieties for stormwater education, pollution prevention, for both residents, businesses, the community at large.
Thank you again, Kevin. Item number 7, County Trunk Highway OT project inclusion of City of Onalaska and Village of Holman water connection. Jared?
Thank you. On your mat or in your packet tonight on page 34, there's a map. So with this, what the county is actually performing a project that's scheduled for next year to put a roundabout OT and Commerce Road and Corporate Drive, which is the Quick Trip McDonald's intersection. So this got some talk between the City of Onalaska and the Village of Holman. And currently, you can see where our water main ends by the Quick Trip there at the corner of Abbey Road and Commerce Road. The Village of Holman water main ends at Circle Drive and Corporate Drive. So we talked about it, and before we put any time and a lot of effort, the Director of Public Works at Holman took it to their village board and they were receptive to it. So I'm gauging interest in a possible interconnection between our two municipalities. And what this would be is this would allow us an emergency feed for either community if something went wrong on that end of their end of the city. So for instance, if we have a water main shut down, say down by the apartment buildings on Abbey Road, close to East Avenue, our water main is not looped. So then we would have to shut down the Quick Trip. The Quick Trip wouldn't have water. Same thing for them. If they had a water main shut down, the McDonald's would be out of water. It's just one of those things that we have this currently with the city of La Crosse in 2 locations, and we have actually used it in the last 10 years. We've used it a couple of times actually down by Nutbush, and we've actually have another connection out by the mall that we actually exercise if we would need to. Our systems are close enough in elevation that they would work hydraulically. This is not committing to any project. It's not committing to any funds. It's just making sure that we're moving forward in a orderly fashion and kind of making sure we don't expend any resources before we know it's at least viable with the elected officials.
Jared, if we were to move forward in the coming months, years, whatever, do you have a rough guesstimate? Like if we were to say, I mean, obviously we want to go ahead and be good neighbors and such, but
Yep. We'd obviously split the costs. So, I mean, it would be, we'd have to look, we haven't looked at it yet. If we would try and get something in with the road project, or we would directional drill it like we were doing on the project out on 16 right now. I'm guessing we would probably directional drill it, but we haven't even looked at options yet. So, but it's going to be more than 5,000, but less than 100,000 to probably put our section in.
yeah,
It's what it is. I mean, I hate giving I know it's a broad range, but
well, whatever, at such
I mean, we got,
comes in the future, we can always decline.
yeah.
we get
I
to-
mean, this isn't committing us to anything. I mean, it's one of those things where you look at and this is depreciated values. One of the things always astounds me when you get your auditor's report and they come in with their book and they tell you, we've got almost $50 million worth of water, sewer, and storm sewer assets in the city, $50 million worth, and that's depreciated out. That's not replacement costs. So, I mean, you have a large asset in various facilities that you have. So, but that's the reason that we bring forward projects in the capital improvements program to keep those assets up. But It's one of those things, this comes back to these, we have to do an emergency management plan that we got to update every 5 years. That's due next year. These are things that we highlight in it. These are things that it's no different than the generator that we put in at City Hall. It's no different than a lot of these things we do. You don't need it until you need it.
So you don't need anything from us right at this moment?
Just a head
keeping us
nod that
informed.
you're at least to look at it.
It looks like we do have
Have
a
the
consensus.
conversation.
Yep.
Be a good neighbor.
Yep. Item number 8, state/municipal agreement for 2025 through 2028 carbon reduction program, East Avenue sidewalk. I know Jared, you brought this up earlier. I'll turn this over to you.
Yeah, so the state municipal agreement would be us agreeing to accepting the project. We did apply for this 2 years ago now. We've been waiting for the state municipal agreement for, gosh, I thought it's been almost a year now. We thought it may not come to fruition, but it did. If you go to page 41, under summary of costs, you can see we've got a total estimated cost of 503,000. Federal funds are 391, project sponsor funds are 112, approximately just under 112. This project would be installing the last sidewalk link along East Avenue. Currently, you cannot walk on a pedestrian facility from the city of Onalaska to the village of Holman. There is no link. With this would be the last link that we'd put in and sidewalk installed as part of the Abbey Road project and filling in that spot. This would get us connected where you could actually physically walk on a sidewalk or a path from Onalaska to Holman or ride a bike or whatever if you wanted to. So I think it's an important project. If you notice along that area, there are some steep driveways along there. The road is fairly wide. So our plan for this project is to narrow the street like we did on Marco Road and install the sidewalk, thereby hopefully having some traffic calming to slow the traffic and also getting the sidewalk where we won't have to tear up all those driveways. So this probably will have some residual impacts to the capital improvements budget because we'll probably do a city project at the same time to pave on each side of it, East Avenue. So it's not part of the project necessarily, and we wouldn't have to do it, but it'd be the time to do the whole of a whole stretch at once. But I think this will be a good project to get this done.
I move to approve the agreement, the state municipal agreement for the carbon reduction program.
I'll second.
Motion by Mayor Kim, second by Sabrina to go forward with item number 8, discussion. Jared, one quick question I have. So this current sidewalk is on, I'm going to call it the
West side,
west side
that's
where
where
the Roosh properties are and such.
Mhm.
When I read the description, does it go all the way down and connect to East Avenue or what? No, well, not east, but it's,
It connects to Sand Lake Road. There's sidewalk in front of the beer distributor.
West Beverage.
Across Beverage.
Yeah.
So there is sidewalk existing and Roush has to put the sidewalk in as part of his development.
oh, okay.
We will have to work on some sidewalk in front of the Century Tel building. There's about 75 feet there that we'll have to work on as part of our general miscellaneous.
I think we got a letter from a gal from Holman a few years
Yep,
ago. I think
yep,
she-
that was part of our submittal for the grant that we
Well,
actually put
and
that in.
you know, again, to be, community friendly and connect, we're all always talking about connections. So we have a motion on the floor to move forward. Seeing and hearing no further discussion, all those in favor of said motion say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, motion carries unanimously. Item 9, resolution 20-2025, approving the 2026 resource recovery special charge. Jared.
This is the resource recovery charge that is on the current utility bill. Currently it is $9.57. We are proposing to have it for 2026 at $9.90 using the budgeted amounts for 2026. I'll make a motion to approve resolution 20-2025.
Second.
Motion by Jared, second by Alder Larry to approve resolution 20-2025. Discussion. Hearing none, all those in favor of said motion say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries unanimously. Item number 10, 2026 cooperative recycling agreement.
We've had this for many years. This is 20 years we've been having this. This is just the Biggest thing comes out of this is the recycler that we distribute to all the various municipalities, all cooperate in this. We do get more grant funding because of this. This is a great thing, so staff's recommending approval.
Second.
Motion by Mayor Kim, second by Sabrina. Discussion. Jared, there is no, this is different than what, because we have in our general fund budget to contribute like X number of dollars. That's something totally different than this. We're just saying yes to this, right?
Yes, yep.
And there's no dollars involved.
No, well, we pay our share of the recycler costs, which we have every year, and we budget for
Okay,
that.
yeah, that's what I'm thinking of. Okay.
Yeah.
Any
Yep.
other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of said motion say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries unanimously. Item number 11, and there is a handout for this also. 2025 City Hall Masonry Repairs Project bid. Jared.
Yep, we did have open bids today for the City Hall masonry repairs. 2025 City Hall masonry repairs. We did have three bidders. The apparent low bidder was Berglund Construction. They are approved bidders proof. They acknowledged the addendum and everything, so it came at $57,200. Staff is recommending approval. We had approximately 100,000 left from the previous City Hall project, but we will be bringing forward work by Leddicker Roofing to basically remove the roof in the area. We gotta do the repairs again. So there will be more costs besides this, but we'll still be within our budgeted amount.
This doesn't have anything to do with the envelope program?
This is part of the envelope program. Yep. Yep.
Second.
Motion by Mayor Kim, second by Alder Larry to approve the 2025 City Hall Masonry Repairs Project bid awarded to Berglund Construction in the amount of $57,200. Quick question, under discussion, Jared, have we used Berglund prior?
No, but they're looking at their bidders proof. They're doing a $92 million hospital and they're way qualified.
That's always my
They're out of
question to
Milwaukee,
ask.
so Dane County, Milwaukee, right? Milwaukee Public Schools, Dane County, City of Racine, County of Kenosha, right? They're just slowly moving over here, so.
Yep.
And they want our little project. I'm glad. So did we vote?
I think Sabrina had a question.
I was gonna I had the same
Oh.
question as Alder Wolf, so I'm good.
So all those in favor of said motion say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, motion carries unanimously. Item 12, pay estimates, Strand Associates, Inc., MSA Professional Services, Inc., Short Elliott Hendrickson, Inc., State of Wisconsin Department of Transportation, Markin and Johnson, Inc., Fowler and Hammer, Inc., McCabe Construction, Inc., Matthew Construction Company, and any other contractor / developer. And I see on a memo dated September 2nd, 2025, that there are a total of 13.
13.
Make a motion to approve Public Works monthly estimates, September 2nd, 2025.
I'll second.
Motion by Alder Jim, second by Sabrina, to approve items 1 through 13. Discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor of said motion say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, motion carries unanimously. We already took care of,
13.
we did, right? I have it marked off. Oh, that's right, because we stuck around until the 13A and 13B is done. Item 14, yeah, there is a backside of this, isn't there? Here we are. Okay, catch my breath. Item 14, City of Onalaska Stormwater. A 2026 Stormwater Budget.
Well, let Sabrina start. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll give Jared a break. So in your packets on page 75 is the stormwater utility budget. This was brought forward. You'll see the department line that was brought forward by Jared. I am the one that takes care of the revenue lines with input from Jared, of course. So you'll see the slight modest increases in revenue projections based on 2024 activity. Then following with expenses, the expenses for salaries and wages, those all come from me as well as insurance. We did have a rather large increase in insurance costs for 2026. 2026. I think we ended at 29%. So you see a large increase there. And then wages would just be based on direction from the administrator, and the council, I believe, agreed with a 1.5% COLA for 2026, 1.5% in January, 1.5% in July. So you'll see that on the wage lines. Then after that, the rest of the expenses are what was brought forward from our Public Works Director based on prior costs and current projected items for 2026. So if you have any questions, I'm sure Jared will take all of those, but following the budget sheet is there's a summary on page 80 of the costs for the stormwater management budget, the utility component, and then the classification summary. Then following that being the ERU rate and how that's changed over the years. Then on page 82 is a nice summary from Jared, and you'll see these memos in the budget that will come forward to you in October. Department heads were directed to give us a memo stating where they were increasing, decreasing costs. Then following that is a new staff form, and I'll let Jared kind of take over there on page 83.
Yeah, so page 82, I kind of got a memo that outlines the changes. We are currently at a rate of $110.72 per ERU. I am proposing $122.60 per ERU. Part of that, you can see, part of the large parts of that are the addition of a full-time staff engineer. Half of that would be from the stormwater utility. Part of that would be to assist our city engineer, Kevin Schubert, in all the activities that go along with the MS4 permit, including some of the activities that we currently consult out. There's activities, you've heard me say this when I've been talking about the MS4 permit, trying to find ways to do more with that permit and do a more compliant activities. So that is in the sheet. We also have maintenance worker, half-time maintenance worker. We were proposing a half-time, a full-time public works maintenance worker. Half of that maintenance worker would be storm and half would be street. That we did submit that. And then I will go back to the staff engineer. We did take cost savings. We did take other things out of the budget. So we did take that into account with that engineer. So that's the real, that and the wages and benefits. Those are the real changes in the storm sewer budget. You can read the memos regarding the staff requests, and you can read the staff budget development process, new staff forms. So if you got any questions, I'm more than happy to assist you answering them.
Are we looking to approve the new staff forms now, or is that coming at budget time in October?
Well, there's one that impacts the general fund, which of course that'll go through as we prepare the operating budget. The other ones, again, they will still move through and we'll have some discussion, but if they're in the utility ones and they can support it, I don't see that there would be a reason, or not utility, utility funds, then I don't see why there wouldn't be a reason. So I would say you're approving it to move forward. There will be some further discussion as we go forward.
To eventually come to council as part of the budget. Okay.
Correct. Yep.
Okay. Sabrina.
I would just add in the department line, just to stay consistent between all of the departments, I did not include the new positions in the wage line. But if it is the intent of the committee and of Rick, then it would go on the next line for the administrators. So just know that the wage amount for these two positions is not in the wage line, that's in the department line.
Okay.
I will add though that the ERU rate calculation does include all of those costs. So though if the ERU that I've proposed, the 122.60 does include everything as shown in my memo on page
82.
82. Yes.
And now that proposed rate takes into account the full-time person for maintenance worker.
Yes, that position right now is proposed at half stormwater and half street. The storm, since we're talking about stormwater, there currently are 1.2 FTE maintenance workers in the stormwater budget. And the stormwater, all the street sweeping is paid for by the stormwater budget. So that is 0.6 of a worker right there just to run the street sweeper. So now we're down to 0.6 of a worker to maintain all those catch basins, all that storm sewer pipe and everything else you see in the city.
Are we looking to approve the rate tonight? Yes.
The next item is to approve the rate. And what we did last year is we approved the rate as submitted as part of the my submittal of the budget. And then if we change something, we change the rate at the budget meeting,
Okay,
is what we did last year. And we're more than welcome to do it however we see fit.
okay. Mayor Kim?
I guess under discussion, I don't remember doing it this way before, but I guess I'm okay with proceeding, just with the understanding it's kind of hard right now. I'm not saying I'm against anybody's
yep.
person or anybody's budget for anything, but without having the whole picture of the budget, it's impossible to say right now that we could change our position when we have more information. But I'm comfortable with proceeding as is for now,
So,
with the understanding we may change our mind later.
so are we looking to approve the stormwater budget at this time?
Yes.
Okay.
I can go ahead and make a motion. Can I do all three of them at once or do you need them separately?
Well, we've only talked about the stormwater one.
Okay.
so-
I move to approve the 2026 stormwater budget as presented.
Second.
Motion by Mayor Kim, second by Alder Larry to approve the 2026 stormwater budget as per our packet. Discussion. Hearing none, all those in favor of said motion say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries unanimously. Item B, 14B, establish 2026 equivalent runoff unit ERU rate. Jared.
Staff is recommending to go to 122.60 versus the 2025 rate of 110.72. That can be adjusted during the final budget. That can be adjusted at the time of final adoption of the budget, depending on staffing approvals.
Okay. Thank you.
I move to establish the 2026 equivalent runoff unit at 122.60. With the
Second.
understanding it may be adjusted if there are changes to the budget.
Second.
Motion by Mayor Kim, second by Alder Larry to approve or to establish the 2026 equivalent runoff unit ERU rate at $122.60, $122.60. Discussion. Larry, Larry?
Any justification on the $12 raise?
Well, if you look at the memo, the half of it is the halftime maintenance position.
Okay.
So it's basically if you look at or page 82, I'm starting to get that memorized where that's at now. You look at the increases, just the employee wages and benefits, and then we did increase debt service 31,000, just the way the debt service rotates through. Sometimes the way the debt service is structured, we get more one year than the other. And then the half position and then a quarter position, basically, those are are really, look at everything below that, our operating line items really didn't change a whole lot.
Thank you.
Any further discussion? Alder Jim?
Just a quick question on the stormwater runoff. That has nothing to do with the city of La Crosse, does it not? It has to go through any of their.
No, just our sanitary sewer, the sanitary sewer goes through the treatment plant. Storm sewer, we discharge at various points to the river, La Crosse River, or some of it's internally drained and some of it goes to Mississippi.
We've had this for what, at least a decade?
2011.
Almost close. We did vote, right?
No.
Yes. No?
We did not vote yet.
All those in favor of item B to establish the ERU rate at $122.60, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries unanimously. Item 14C, 2025 Stormwater Financial.
All right, so next in your packet on page 87 is the stormwater utility financials through July 31st of 2025. Page 87, starting with the balance sheet. Then I can draw your attention to page 89, that would show the budget report through July 31st of 2025. You can see we've had 2 quarters of billing, so we're at, 50, well, should be around 50%, and we actually have 44% remaining. So sitting exactly where I would expect us to be in regards to revenues. And then in regards to expenses, on page 90, the fiscal activity for expenses through July 31st is $430,992.65. We have 70% remaining. A big portion of that is depreciation, which is line 660 of 53440-540. And we always wait till the end of the year to record that once we've seen what our total asset additions have been for the year.
Thank you, Sabrina. I will move to accept and place on file the 2025 Stormwater Financials.
Second.
Motion by Alder Diane, second by Mayor Kim to approve or to accept and place on file the 2025 Stormwater Financials. Discussion. All those in favor of said motion say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries unanimously. Item 15, City of Onalaska Sanitary Sewer, A, 2026 Sanitary Sewer Budget.
All right, so next in your packets on page 92, kind of the same scenario. This is the sewer utility budget. Again, revenue is fairly modest increases comparing to 2021, sorry, not 2021, 2024 activity, which would get us at $4,221,000 in regards to budgeted revenues. Then in regards to expenses, again, salaries and health insurance coming from my department to update those for the budget. Then all of the expenses after that, I will leave it to Jared if he wants to add any additional items.
On page 98, just my memo that I attached, I did not have the employee wages, so that the employee wages did go up, existing employee wages. 1/4 of the staff engineer is included in or requested to be included in the sanitary sewer budget, but we will not be filling our part-time engineering aid position as part of that, so part of that will be offset. So for the sanitary and water side of the budgets for the staff engineer, the budget impacts are very modest. But you can see the increase in lacrosse treatment charges here, 64,000. That's the biggest increase in there. Besides that, and some of the phone system and IT things, that's basically where any of our changes are for the storm or the sanitary sewer.
Thanks, Jared. I move that we approve the 2026 sanitary sewer budget.
Second.
Motion by motion by Mayor Kim, second by Alder Larry to approve 2026 sanitary sewer budget. Discussion.
I did have one question.
Mayor Kim?
When I read that about the WinCam pipe televising software, is that one that we talk about all the time where you normally rent it from the guy?
Well, so we actually used to spend $25,000 a year to hire
Yeah.
individual come in and televise.
Yeah.
We purchased the actual camera for $100,000 2 years ago.
Okay.
And now we use this software to catalog and file and take all the video we take. It's an enormous amount of video that you end up with. So you need the software to really be able to use the video.
Plus you can do more
Yeah,
because you're not relying on the person to.
correct.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for clarifying that.
We contract that out and make some money. I'm just kidding. Anyway. So, I can tell it's late for me.
Motion was
Well,
made and
thank you.
seconded. We need.
Oh, I have it there. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of said motion say aye.
Aye.
Motion, those opposed, motion carries unanimously. Item 15B, changes to the treatment rate for 2026.
All right, next in your packets on page 99. I don't know if we want to tackle both of these at the same time. I'll talk about them both and then maybe we can approve them separately. But the treatment rates currently charged 3,718 per million gallons. The proposed 2026 rate is 3,830,000 per million gallons. So what that amounts to on the water bill is the current charge is 333. And in discussion with Jared, we are proposing an increase of 3% to go to 343.
It's a pass through.
Yep, pass through from the city of La Crosse. And then after that, the transmission rate, recommending a 3% increase there from from $2.87 to $2.96. The flat rate, those are the current charges. We are not proposing any changes to those.
So that's just compensating for the 64,000.
Yeah, that's what
Just 3%.
that's what the treatment would be is that. And the 3% on the transmission is our cost. That's all of our budget costs for staff, our mains within the city, lift stations that we operate, all those, and all the admin costs for our staff that get distributed for this through various staff.
I move we approve the changes for the treatment and transmission rates for 2026 as proposed.
Second that.
Motion by Alder Kim, second by Alder Jim to approve. Discussion. All those in favor of said motion say aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries unanimously. Item 15D, 2025 sanitary sewer financials. Sabrina.
Thank you. Next in your packet on page 100 is the sewer utility balance sheet, which continues on through pages 100 to 102. Then starting on page 103 is the budget report for the sewer utility. The total fiscal activity through July 31st of 2025 is $2,376,064.69. So the percent remaining to hit our total budgeted revenues is 41.46%. So we'll for sure hit those revenues with 2 quarters remaining for budgeted revenues. Then in regards to expenses, if I can draw your attention to page 105 to get our total expenses year to date. Our total expenses year to date is $2,072,158.69. Again, 52.85% remaining. A huge portion of that is going to be depreciation, which we budgeted $650,000 for. Again, towards the end of the year, after the end of the year, we'll do that journal entry for depreciation.
Thank you. I move to accept and place on file the 2025 sanitary sewer financials.
Second.
Motion by Alder Diane, second by Alder Larry to place on file the 2025 sanitary sewer financials. Discussion. Hearing none. All those in favor of said motion say aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries unanimously. Item 16, City of Onalaska Water. Item A, 2026 water budget.
So next in your packet on page 107 is the water utility budget. Again, revenues, I did increase those based on activity from 2024. So you do see an increase from the 2025 budget. Then following that, wages and health insurance and WRS rates and all of those were updated from my department based on the increases we've already talked about. Then if Jared, you want to add anything additional related to the water?
No, I just got same as the sanitary sewer, have my memo attached and just a few modest increases to various things. The one thing I will point out is we did have some budgeting more for water valve replacements, which was 10,000. We do have to clean reservoirs next year, which is 10,000, and computer and IT hardware is 10,000. And then you will see us bringing through well number 10 for motor and pump rehab and replacement for 40. So those were the big ticket items of why the changes were in the water budget submitted.
I move to approve the 2026 water budget.
Second.
Motion by Mayor Kim, second by Alder Larry to approve the 2026 water budget. Discussion. Seeing and hearing none, all those in favor of said motion say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries unanimously. Item 16B, submission of water simplified rate case adjustment to Wisconsin Public Service Commission. Sabrina?
Sure, I'll start. I'll let Jared chime in. So in my time here at the city, we've pretty much every year, or not every year, but 3 out of the 4 years, we have gone forward with taking a look at a simplified rate case. It is a great option. It's very easy to complete the data that I would have to submit forward to see if the PSC believes we are charging the correct rates for water, or whether they believe we should increase our rates based on our asset value. They take into consideration our debt to equity ratio. They take into consideration our fixed assets, how they're depreciating, to see if we do qualify for a simplified rate case. The main reason why I'm a proponent of this, as well as the auditors, and I think Jared as well, I don't want to speak for Jared, is when we evaluate this on a yearly basis, then we don't run into a situation where we have to do a full rate case and we have to see a 30 or 40% increase. We see it modestly over time. So we have not done anything in regards to this. If it is the will of the committee, I'll move forward with that, and I would bring it forward to the next meeting to see if we did qualify. I would submit the application and bring that forward.
Do you need a motion?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I don't know if Jared wants to.
I'm just going to say, I think this is our last year because we can only do it for 5 years. So then anything after this, we would have to do a full rate case. I will say we did a full rate case in 2019. That was implemented in 2021 and 2020 and 2021. And it was 26% and 19% spread over because
yeah, I
we
remember
split it in 2 years. So this is much more level. It keeps us going in a good way. And especially with the costs we've seen on everything, with all items with regard to the water utility. I think it's just a great thing to keep doing, but we will be coming forward with a full rate case probably in the next 2 or 3 years, especially if we do any more projects, we'll end up doing a full rate case.
Yeah, I mean, it might be a good idea if we do the mortgage revenue bonds, that will be next year. So it might be a good idea to do it this year and then take off next year. And then the following year, we could do a full rate, because you can only do it 5 times.
5 years. So this should be our last time we do it simplified.
Okay, I make a motion, we move forward with seeing if we qualify for a simplified rate case adjustment with the PSC. And if so, begin the process.
I'll second.
Motion by Mayor Kim, second by Sabrina to approve item 16B with the submission of the water simplified rate case adjustment to the Wisconsin PSC. Discussion. Hearing none, all those in favor of said motion say aye.
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 Those opposed, motion carries unanimously. Item 16C, 2025 water financials. Sabrina.
All right, so on page 115 is the balance sheet for the water utility. One thing I will point out, we do have a new account, 610-11521. This is money we received in regards to the PFAS settlement. We will be receiving more probably over the next month or so related to that settlement. So that is new, and we are keeping that separate for treatment of any PFAS projects. Then,
I'm sorry, what number was that again?
yep, it's on page 115.
Yeah.
It's GL account 610-11521.
Thank you.
Yep, you're welcome.
Oh, there.
Then if I can draw your attention to page 118. This is the budget report for the water utility. Through July 31st, we have had fiscal revenues of $1,628,461.21. We have 49.19% remaining to hit our total budget revenues. Then in regards to expenses, on the last page of your packets, page 120, year-to-date fiscal activity is $1,263,235, of which we have 65% remaining of our total budgeted expenditures. And again, the largest cost that we do still have to book is our depreciation, which we budgeted $830,000.
I will also add that the third quarter is our largest water use quarter, so our revenue is not significantly higher, but it's higher than other quarters.
I move we approve the 2025 water financials.
Second.
Motion by Mayor Kim, second by Alder Larry to approve the 2025 water financials. Discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor of said motion say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries unanimously. Item 17, adjournment.
No, no, no.
Who wants to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I will second.
Motion by Jared, seconded by Alder Jim to adjourn at, I show 8:06 PM. All those in favor, I'm not having discussion. All those in favor of said discussion?
I want to stay longer.
Border.
We are adjourned unanimously.
Okay,
Thank
so
you
he was
all,
asking if that
and
was part of
all
the
a
envelope
good-
project.
Sorry, what'd you say, Steve?
Remember when we were in the capital
Longest
project,
Public Works.
they were talking